set it up.
Like, or like CPA stuff. It's not like it's here where you're at,
I sit there and talk right now.
but they're just getting the credit. That's all they care about. They already know how to do their job.
Good to go. Try to get yourself.
Well, you know, it's Rotary, it's that time on Thursday, we get together, socialize, fellowship, and so on. You can please stand. And our pianist, who is now moving to the piano, is going to play God Bless America today. Correct, pianist?
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Thank you, sir. Our invocation/thought of the day, Jeff McElhaney.
Dear God, we are thankful for your love, thankful for your blessings in our lives. This group of people is such a special group, these Rotarians, the way we give back through the world. We're thankful for the opportunity to serve humanity. Give us guidance in our decisions for those we make an impact with, and may we have a chance to make a significant impact in their lives. Pray these things in your name. Amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. Sal, please introduce our guests and visiting Rotarians if we have any.
We do. Thank you, Mr. President. We have two guests today. Bob, our special guest, District Governor, is also our speaker. Bob Hobaugh is here. Welcome, Bob. Please no introduction. And we have one guest. Oh, I'm sorry. We have one guest, Mohammed Ketu, who's a guest of the podcast. Welcome, Mohammed.
Mohammed is a very fine person. I've known him for about 5 years now. And he's a very honest person. He's a hardworking person. He's a big fundraiser. He's a big board member. He's a leader in the Muslim faith, the Muslim church, temple, mosque in the area. I mean, he's not a great.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you very much. Thank you for being with us, Bob. We're going to start today with a test. Now, doesn't everyone love that when you come into class and there's a test? Well, today, I'm going to call this the trumpet test. So how many hours do you put in on a trumpet each week?
78.
78. And at your billing rate as an architect at what, $800 an hour, we are getting an incredible value with you coming putting the trumpet together. So in the trumpet yesterday that came out, I know there's at least one person who read it. I had something in my president's message, and there was a picture there. Now, it wasn't a picture of Mark Earl, that was special, yes. But what was the other picture of the book? What was the picture of the book? Sal, check, you're looking for hands raised, there's money involved here. What was the title of the book? Pick someone. Diane? I know, that's hard to imagine, but the book
Was saving civilization.
Okay, so Diane gets some Rotary dollars. The book is Flush. I know that seems like an odd title. my daughter got this for our daughter got, it says how the plumber saves civilization. Now, the second part of this, which is worth $2 million Rotary dollars, what was the statistic that I cited that connects to this book, the Rotary statistic? So this is very, very depressing.
No, lack of memory. I read it, I forget the number.
There was a very large number of people in the world who do not have sanitary facilities, do not have toilets. Maybe. God bless you, girl. 4.5 billion. 4.5 billion people in the world do not have toilets or waste facilities. Isn't that amazing in this day and age? And I also have a chart in there of the 7 focus areas. And Megan, just as a bonus, what does this one go to? Which focus?
Clean water and sanitation.
There you go. I actually made a connection between this book and clean water and sanitation. Personally, I'm going to give myself some Rotary dollars. Bill Urban emailed me by 7:45, said he wanted to read it, and the bookmark is some Rotary dollars.
The only question I had is whether it's about Thomas Cracker.
It is. Thomas Cracker is noted in that. So, thank you. So, here's your assignment. Here's your assignment now. Those of you that know my history a little bit, you know that I am a teacher emeritus from the Bethlehem School District, and I am a principal emeritus from the East Penn School District. I made that up, but I just thought it sounded like. So my assignment to all of you for each week is to read the trumpet before you come to this meeting. There will be more tests, and I have to say, many of you did not do well on the test this week. So I need you to have put a little more effort into it. All right, because Sal works very hard on it. In fact, a nice round of applause for Sal. He did a great job. Okay, a couple of announcements that I have. I've been a reminder we're all finders. I'm looking for people to help me on the recruiting side of things. That's going to happen more in the next couple of weeks. Where are the people at? Eric, who do we have on Zoom today? Who's out there?
Nobody.
No one. We have no one. How can we be missing 50 members and none of them are on Zoom today? I don't understand that. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Who has this app, the CLR app on your phone? All right, here's what I did. Yes, 2 days ago, Tuesday, I do my Rotary stuff. I had some time in between hanging away on the computer. I went to see the club runner. I went to club members. All the club members are here. Jim does an amazing job keeping this up to date. He really does. So I went and I found some people that I haven't seen in a while. I stood up and I said, I called I think 6 people and said, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. How you doing? How about you doing that with people you haven't seen here in a while or on Zoom? It is that simple. Don Blow's phone is ringing right now. Oh, it went.
That's a fine.
That's as easy as that. Actually, I was going to tell Don to stay home, but that was. It's as easy as that. You literally go to the app, you hit call, and Jim has made it so easy for us. Please do that. Call people who are not here. I called 6 the other day in 15 minutes. I don't think any of them are here today, so that shows my power of salesmanship, I guess. That's a whole other story. So, all right. Board meeting today, following this meeting, we're going to meet in here. Eric needs to, so we don't have to move the technology around. So once we're out of here, we are going to move the tables around a little bit. We were going to have a picture with our district governor today, as soon as he's done speaking. So I want everyone to say it's a group picture. I'm going to tell you why. It's ego. I see the pictures of Bob with all these other clubs. I want our club picture to be a really good picture. And Eric and Sal have figured out how we're going to do it. I think we're going to do it right up front here. So please hang around a minute or two. We'll do a quick picture, then you'll get out of here. All right, that's all I have. There are club announcements. Jim Palmquist.
two announcements. One, Bill just suggested I say a few words about Wilmer. I was over to see him Sunday. He lost vision in one eye and he's losing vision in the other eye. And he's under treatment. He fell out of his bed several days ago and got stuck between the cabinet and table on the bed and crawled around for a while. So he's over at, he was at Allen Hospital. He has Valley 17th and Shoe. So on Sunday, he expects to go back to the press soon. His spirits are good, but he didn't like this deteriorating physical situation. So, anyway, I wanted to say a few other words. You know, I was invited to speak at a world conference, a world peace conference in a district in India, District 3131. It was quite an interesting experience. Alicia was on with me for the 3-hour period. They had about an hour of introductions of all kinds of dignitaries, and awards is some sort of boring. There were 3 speakers. One speaker was the lady that runs Rotarian Action Group for Peace, Alison Sutherland, the English Rotarian ex-district governor and stuff. There was a woman from Austria that talked, and I don't know what she talked about, I really don't know. And then I spoke. The district that we were sponsored by, 3131, this club has done about 12 projects with. And we've done another 7 or 8 projects with other districts adjacent. And one of the people on the Rotary staff, his own staff, sent me the list of all the projects we've done with India, and it was very impressive. So I started out early on saying we're old timers with you guys. The one project we did with them was a $300,000 bank, women's bank.
Microcredit.
Yeah, microcredit bank. We also did this Desai Eye Hospital. We spent $55,000 doing surgeries, ophthalmologic cataract surgeries. So it was a lot of fun. The other 2 speakers, Allison talked in generalities about what's exciting happening in London, what's happening over in Bangladesh and stuff like that. No PowerPoint, no real content. And I gave them my speech you've seen. Rotary has a tremendous potential in peace building, just the way we're positioned, how we're organized. But then I went into the project we have, this West African project is wrapping up here in a couple of months. And then I went into how you can be a project lead, how you can be a host sponsor or a financial sponsor or a host sponsor of a Rotary club, and give about 8 resources, and we also gave a handout. So I think our club looked good, and I appreciate all the great work this club has done to make it so powerful in India.
Thank you. Thank you. You have something?
I just said that I think that I will call Willis Monty when I get home. They're not answering, but Dole was really, he was a large part of the micro homestead in the North Pune region of India.
Yeah.
And also it's the largest project our district ever seen. It's a kingpin in that.
And I put Dole's name on the slide. I said, Dole is not even the guy in our district. I figured something might know. Nobody came up with it.
Sue, you had a picture of the show, I think?
No, you have it.
Oh, I have it now. Okay. Okay, this was in the East Penn Press when we gave out the scholarship money, and so thank you to everybody. This is why we do the hard work we do to help young people like this. This is why we do service. This is why we go out and raise money and so on to help. I mean, to think about these 4 young ladies who got help with their education in the future. Give yourselves a round of applause. I think that's. Other club announcements? Nicole, you want to say something?
October 16th, our next Make a Difference Day. I sent out an email yesterday with the sign-up sheet link. It would be easier for people to sign up. There's something for everyone. If you have any questions, let me know.
Nicole, I'm going to make a challenge here. Down below, so let's listen up. I want to see 40 of our members involved in Make a Difference Day.
Okay.
40. If there's 40, I buy 2 breakfasts the next week. I buy, not my money, not the club treasury, my money on the line. If we get 40, the sign-up sheet is simple to do. She's done a great job putting it together.
There's something for everyone. If you want physical or if you want help planning. Okay, well, there's October 16th, and if that day doesn't work, we have the next week is the 23rd. That's where we're putting together a meal with the dress commission. Also, October 27th is the Miracle League Halloween. So if the one day doesn't work, you have some other options.
There are at least, I think, 7 options, seven or eight different ways.
Something for everybody.
Something
I have a
great. Thank you.
question.
Doing a great job with that. Service.
If we sign up for 2 projects, does Mike buy 2 breakfasts?
Say it again.
Oh, funny, he didn't hear that. If we sign up for 2 projects, we get 2 breakfasts.
No, you get two chances. Everybody, okay, let's do this. Every project you do, you get your name is going to go into the basket or whatever, and if you do 10, you get 10 chances to win. Not by the hour. Don't overthink this, okay? Don't love.
So let's say somebody signs up for 10 projects, does that count as 10 people, or does it be 10, 40?
10 chances to win. I did not think this was. We'll figure it out, but I want to get our speaker on here.
Obviously, you're a teacher and you don't listen. Let me explain the question. If somebody signs up for 2 projects, does that mean we only need 38 people, or do we still
No,
need
she gets
40?
No, you need 40 people. 45. Good clarification.
2 tickets, but it doesn't count unless we get 40.
Okay, thank you, Nicole. Don't do that again. Mark Earl, great picture, Mark Earl.
Thank you. And thanks everybody for your support of the event coming up this Saturday. This will be the last announcement before the event. So talking about the poker run, this is our 4th annual. And you'll notice there's a sheet on your table that lists all the sponsors and donors. We're very thankful for those. There's many, many more people that also bought raffle tickets and so forth. It's gonna be beautiful weather on Saturday over in Albertus, and the loop is gonna be taking us out through Berks and northern Lehigh County. Please come out and consider participating. You don't have to register ahead of time, you can register the day of. So that's 9 a.m. this Saturday at Alberta Park. All the money that we raise goes to sales of power to help local veterans. So thank you to the committee and to the club for its support. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. There's a good article in the Trumpet about it, just so you know.
Next Thursday, there's a couple of Rotary clubs putting together a mixer, and the chamber's helping coordinate. So on Thursday, September 30th, from 5 to 7 or 5:30 to 7:30, I'll let you know. At 8.
It's in the Trumpet.
It's in the at 8 Oaks, there will be a group of Rotarians and hopefully chamber members who are interested in learning more about Rotary at 8 Oaks, and we'd love to have you there. Conversations over cornhole, if you're interested in cornhole, food, and fun.
It'll be a good time. I need one person to go with me. I'll talk to see who's gonna go with me that evening. Wait. Oh, Wade's gonna go. You're gonna go. Okay. Purple Pinky, reminder that's October 2. I don't see the Purple Pinky princess here today, but she would say, sign up. Try to get at least 10 people signed up for Purple Pinky. Cindy?
As of yesterday, you guys come as well to the Beer Fest, because not only is Shani a sponsor, we have Sam Adams being a sponsor, they confirmed it, and we have a local winery. So those of you who can't watch, are sure.
Okay, let's go to the greeter to do our raffle. Who's our greeter today? Oh, girl, go. Doing one today.
All right, 006 is the first 3. Last 3 are 936. We had a lot of leftover tickets. This might take a bit. 936.
936. 936. Okay, go to the next one.
Yeah, we have a winner.
Congratulations. Sergeant at Arms, you're up.
Only one?
Only one.
That's fine.
Good one. We're moving on. We have a speaker who needs 30 minutes today.
Speaker needs 30 minutes, so if you have happy dollars, raise your hand, I'll come around and get it. You can't talk about it. No. I just have one thought. Those of you that read the trumpet, there's a caption underneath Mark Earl's picture. Plus, how the plumber saved Cavillation. Now, I don't know who does the trumpet, where they get the articles from, it's a cut and paste. But for those of you that don't know what cavillation is, it's an objection made to.
Okay,
or
okay,
dispute
my spell
raised
checker
on-
didn't work well, I own that one, yeah, I did it twice. I did it twice, I know, civilization spelled wrong twice. Thank you for catching that and bringing it to 35 people, I appreciate it.
Yeah, my happy dollars.
Alicia, happy
My
dollars.
happy dollars are because I had the honor, the pressure, the privilege of attending the conference that Jim was the speaker. Obviously, my opinion, he was the best, and he made us very proud. And he also forgot to mention that the Rotary International president, Shakara Mehta, was there to thank the speakers and to welcome all of us. And so, Jim, you made us proud. And very glad to be here. Thank you. From all over the world attended the conference.
Great to see you today, Alicia, thank you for being with us again. Cindy?
I'll give $5.
Wait, are you calling the people for happy dollars or not?
It's the teacher in me, I'm sorry.
Notice that.
Did we have to pay for that?
He's gonna be paying a lot today. Anyway, go ahead. Cindy.
I have $5 for Jim, and I thought this was really exciting. And I have to, you know, our governor's here, so we're happy to have him.
Okay, I have $5 and I'm very happy that District Governor Bob is here as well. I'm looking forward to his presentation. Mike Waddell had asked me to see if we can get a slideshow with all our Rotary banners on it, which thankfully Eric Locke, well, Chris Horniman, Valerie, and John Chiska had taken photos of all the banners. When I had taken them all off the boards and put them in alphabetical order. Anyway, there's our presentation, and I'm very happy because it's just physically impossible to set up the banner boards that had all the flags on the way we used in the past. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary, I was going to mention that, great job by the folks doing that.
One gentleman over there.
Thank you. I have a couple bucks for your happy dollars. First one is, I'm so glad to be here because the Emmaus Club is more important to the district than maybe you realize. I see it all the time. And I also want to say that flag banner thing that you showed in the beginning, that was terrific. That was terrific. I remember many places. Whoever went to Asheville Rotary for Rotary, wow, that's great. And I've been to Tom's River, so who's taking the money?
Thank you.
What a nice suit.
Yeah, the only one.
Right.
Any other happiness? I know it, JP, finish us off strong.
I will say, as one of the guys that helped build the original banner boards with Whitney and Sarver and a bunch of other people at Sarver's place, I was sorry to hear that they were being decommissioned and taken apart. But I have to say that this is a tremendous, I won't say improvement, but definite great evolution. And it's really neat to be able to see them just scrolling up there. So fantastic job. I really, really like it. It's been great.
Thank you, Jim. Good seeing you, Jim. Is it my turn now? Just making sure.
Yeah, he has 26 minutes.
All right. Rick Zayas is going to introduce our speaker today.
Good morning, everybody. If you don't know, I am the current assistant governor of Area 1. So I have the pleasure of introducing Bob today. Now, here's the thing. Bob gives out little gifts to people who answer the questions correctly. Bob's reason for being a Rotarian started with this club. So I'm going to ask him if he could give out and maybe come up with a test question for you guys and listen about his bio. And he'll have a question for you later. A couple things about Bob, and this is like a 3-page thing that I condensed into one, so I'll keep it as concise as I can. Bob learned about Rotary through his friends who were exchange students sponsored by the Emmaus Rotary Club. He graduated from Emmaus High School, Penn State University, University of Virginia, and eventually Dickinson School of Law. He met his current wife, Florida, after law school. They have a daughter, Karen, and a son, Stephen, both Penn State graduates. Bob is currently an attorney practicing in southeastern Pennsylvania. He started out practicing with large law firms for 34 years and now enjoys a solo practice. Bob regularly publishes legal articles with the business law sections of the American Bar Association, Pennsylvania Bar Association, with many other business organizations. That is really great reading. Bob serves as director and board chair of Honolulu Region Antique Automobile Club of America. He served as director and president of the Burn Prevention Foundation, director of Kutztown Rotary Charitable Foundation, Diacon and its predecessor organizations, and was the founding director of the Northeast Berks Chamber of Commerce. Bob is also a master judge, team captain for the AACA, and a member of the Antique Motorcycle Club of America. He shows antique BMWs at national meets. David?
Yes. We know each other.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Bob has been an active member of the Kutztown Rotary Club since 1986. He has served the District 7430 as parliamentarian, assistant governor, annual fund chair, member of the International Service and DEI committees, and is counselor in the student exchange program.
Me too.
He teaches for the Rotary Leadership Institute. He's also a member of the Water, Sanitation, and Hygiene Rotary Action Group and the International Fellowship of Motorcycling Rotarians. Bob thanks his wife, Rita, for serving him in Rotary. Here is Bob Hobaugh, our district governor.
I knew I'd get to the Emmaus Club, and I've really been looking forward to it. So, today's interactive. So if you answer a question the way I like it, Diane, what does the answering person get? Take it and look at it. Yeah, it's a rotary thing. It's the hand holding the glove. Now, a good speech should say, well, what are we going to talk about? Then talk about it and conclude by saying what we just talked about. Here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the transformational value of service, and we're going to talk about being intentional about the way we serve others. So let's go back. 2019, the city was there, but I was sitting next to past District Governor Herb in Hamburg, Germany at the International Convention. And this was a big rollout. Sometimes, Rotary International, like marketing all over the world, they roll things out. And this time it was a new mission statement. It was priorities. And poor Mike Lydell has been through all this intense training. But the point is, we have a mission statement in Rotary International. Who can tell me what it is? I know it's on the tips of your tongue. So,
Service above self.
that's a good one. That's a good guess, but that's kind of like a slogan that we live by, right? Okay, who ever heard, and I think it was Herb who used to say this all the time, listen to the elements of this. Together, we see a world where people take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. So I nudged Herb and said, what the heck does that mean? I said, I understand changing things in third world countries and maybe helping in our communities where there's hunger, but why do we have to change ourselves? And who the heck is we? Why don't they say Rotarians? Well, it turns out there's a good reason for that. Because we Rotarians have a vision that includes visions that other organizations have. Some examples. Who ever heard of the Peace Corps? Yes, just turned 60 years old. You might have seen that. Rotary International just inked another partnership agreement with the Peace Corps because we have an alignment of vision. Okay, we do similar things and we have similar goals. Okay, 1947. I know none of you were around in 1947, but Rotary was there with the International Red Cross at the chartering of the United Nations. And the sustainable development goals of the United Nations, in fact, 13 of them are implicated in our 7 areas of focus. So we share vision. Who else do we share a vision with? Who matches us 2 to 1? Go ahead, Megan.
The polio foundation.
Well, you're on the right track. No, I'm gonna let her drill down and try to get this.
Well, I was actually gonna say shelter box or something different. and
Oh,
you
that
know,
would- that
holding
would've
a
been
thing at
wrong.
me.
Come on, who, so when we
Bill and
give,
Gates- Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
that's absolutely correct. Bill and Melinda Gates, and they give us every year $50 million, and we're up to now $300 million. And 2 to 1. So we have the purple pinky. By the way, who's the purple pinky princess? I heard that reference. Oh, Lexa. Well, Lexa may not be here, but we have these. If you registered, I have a free purple pinky Waste Zero mask for you. Check it out. Okay, so, geez, 17 minutes left. Okay, so we share visions with other people. Not only do we share visions with other people, but we change the globe, our communities, and ourselves. I figured it out. Our new president, Shaker Meda. Okay, I've been schooled in this, right, Rick? Yep. Because I butchered his name too long. But a guy named Vishnu Patel in one of our Southern clubs said, Bob, is Shaker, like Shaker Furniture, Meda, think with a D, not a T. So he's got this vision and this slogan that is serve to change lives. And it turns out that the lives we change aren't just the people we serve, but we change the lives of we who serve. Service is transformational. Shaker likes to give an example. I'm going to read 2 from my own life. So Shaker's he's a good investor. He's a smart guy, certified public accountant who very wisely got into commercial real estate long before I did. So he's made all this money that I haven't made, but he plows it back into good projects, including a wheelchair project, for example. So Shaker was dapperly dressed, not as nice as that blue suit, but he's kind of more Brooks Brothers, okay? Anyway, so he's what he does is he sticks his hand out and he shakes the hands of these applicants for wheelchairs, right? See if they have enough forearm and wrist strength to operate those wheels, right? Well, of course, the next guy who comes walking up, you hear me walking up, he's a wheelchair, he's walking on his hands, okay? Across a very dirty floor in India. And Shaker realizes, oh my God, I have to do this. I gotta shake this guy's hand. So he reaches down and shakes the guy's hand. Of course, the guy is strong enough to operate a wheelchair. And of course, he's worthy. And of course, the wheelchair changed his life. But it also changed Shaker's life. He empathized with someone in a way that he never was asked to do before. And you know, it's that empathy, it's getting out of our own head and getting into the lives of other people that really transforms us. 2 examples from my life. The United Nations, my wife, Florida, you'll hear me mention her name today a couple times. She's a Rotarian and she joined me at the United Nations. By the way, we've got a UN trip coming up in the spring. I'm going to do a UN presentation here in November or December in the district. But we go up regularly to the UN. We try to take exchange students. We took a very shy girl from India, painfully shy, having a bad youth experience. And so we took her up there and we had a chance to go into the plenary session room. And you know, you can't go there anymore. You have to see it in Hitchcock's movie, North by Northwest or something like that. So anyway, we had her sit at the table that said India. And she had a chance to see how she fits in as an important country among other important countries and an important person who has a role in the world. She felt a sense of who she is and a little self-confidence that day. My wife and I grew with her just as you've grown with your own kids. You know how it happens, but this service that we did gave us a chance to grow a little bit. Most recently, my Rotary Club and my church got together. We do something called Kutztown. I'm from Kutztown, okay? You heard of it? Okay. Kutztown, actually, I'm from Elmac. But Kutztown Kitchen, so we prepare food and have people in the community come to eat who can't necessarily afford to eat at Brookside in the morning. They don't have the money for this, okay? But it was during COVID, so they couldn't eat with us. So we had boxed foods to distribute. Some of them, as you can imagine, are homebound. Well,
Sawyer and I agreed to take about 10 boxes. Off the road as we go home. And the last delivery is 3 doors down from our house. And I'm thinking, wait a second, I know these people. They're younger than I am. They're better looking than I am. They got a kid who just went to not law school, medical school, right? What do they need my crummy box meal for? So I knock on the door, answer the door, and unbeknownst to the neighbors, Mom has an advanced case of multiple sclerosis. We didn't know that. We never would have known that about this family. They sort of, maybe they see it as stigma, I'm not sure. But the bottom line is, we started to empathize with our neighbors, and we never would have gotten that opportunity had we not served and delivered this food. Now, how about you? Has anyone been transformed by Rotary service? That's a softball. It's a slow pitch. Go ahead, Jim, take it back.
I've got a, unusual situation. I went to Japan at the study exchange in '95, and I began to realize that we're all the same. The Japanese have different customs ours, completely different, and some things about their society is better than ours, and some is worse. But it changed my perspective on international relations.
Yeah, okay, good. That's where the pinhole. Yeah, sure. Whereton, that guy will find you if you don't wear a pin. Okay, I'm sure there are other examples, but of course we don't have a lot of time, so we're gonna move on. Now, the transitional question. Do we plan our service or do we just serve? How does it work out? In Rotary, poker room, our Parkland, wait, you do snack, you do packaging food, right?
East Penn Food Coalition,
And-
over 9,000 meals we've served in the last year.
And isn't that intentional and planning? Okay, so Cindy, let me ask the question. Do we plan our service or does it just happen?
Both. Mostly.
Give me the answer I want.
He doesn't do what he tells me. I do what he tells me.
You know,
Yes, we plan.
That's
Yes,
right. We plan. Service is intentional. Did you ever hear of Jack Kennedy? You know about the Peace Corps. Well, you know that Jack Kennedy said something that I think about all the time. Things don't just happen, they're made to happen. Bottom line is, you gotta make it happen because a goal without a plan is just a wish. And wishes are like, yeah, great, we all have wishes. Let's make it happen. So now let's talk a little bit of the intentionality. We had a theme here in the district this year, and it's brought to you by your district governor, who is a sailor, among other things. I don't think Rick said that, but I scuba, I sail, I do skiing out west, I do a lot of things. You'll find on your table a save the date, and it says, chart your course and set your sails. And that, my friends, is the theme of your district governor theme this year in District 7430. Chart your course and set your sails. And Mike Waddell had to sit through all this. Mike, how is a Rotary Club very much like a sailboat?
This is a higher level question.
It is. This is not what this is trying to say about crabber.
Well above flush, that's for sure.
That's right.
I think a Rotary Club is like a sailboat, and we determine our own path. We can decide which way we want to go. We have a crew, we have our team, you pick the best people to be on your team. You have the sails, you have that wind behind us, hopefully. It's pushing us, which I think is service. I think service is the way. It's pushing us down. Give me what you want here.
You're doing a good job. Doing a good job. This depends on the installment plan. So if a Rotary Club is like a sailboat with a crew, what does it mean to set your sails? Now we know chart your course is the intentional thing of like setting goals for a club, but okay, what is set your sails?
You don't have any control over the wind. You have to trim your sails to adjust to the wind to get to the direction that you want to go. Sometimes that means changing the way you're doing things. To
That's
adjust
right.
to change.
That's right. What's your name?
JP Rayner.
JP Rayner. I'm RJ Hobaugh.
Very nice to meet you.
So anyway, we have to adjust ourselves. That's fine, you can sit there. We have to adjust our sails from time to time. Now, Remarkably, the wind is force of nature. And Mr. Rainick, I have to tell you that the people in our crew are forces of nature too. We actually adjust our sails to accommodate the people in our club and to take advantage of all the talents that they bring. That Mike told us that we're a diverse group and we bring all kinds of talents and temperaments and abilities to whatever we do. Topless poker run, for example, Michael, or golf tournament for Rick, Cindy's food packaging, all the things you folks do is amazing, okay? Now, going forward, we're going to talk about really 4 things. The things that we learned at Rotary International in 2019, Herb and I didn't just listen to the mission statement, we listened to the 4 priorities. And those 4 priorities are the priorities of Rotary International strategic plan. They are the 4 priorities of our district plan, and they are, I believe, when I look at what Michael gave me, the priorities in your action plan too. So we have a uniformity of vision. The first question, and these are the questions that Michael had to ask: how can the Emmaus Rotary Club increase its impact through service and telling its story? Question number 2, how can the Emmaus Rotary Club expand its reach by growing membership and advancing leadership among young people who are new members, right? Next thing, how can the Emmaus Rotary Club enhance participant engagement among its members? Good Lord, we're just coming out of COVID. We're still wearing masks, but let's get back into the game plan. Let's have some fun, let's engage. And finally, how can we increase our ability to adapt? Those are the 4 priorities. That's what we go by. Lots of examples: increase our impact, district grants, global grants, projects you do. Cindy, I'm so happy. Last night we just had the charter meeting of the Environmental Sustainability Committee for District 7430, led by Terry Reed. And we're going to be doing a lot of things, including representing the world of arborists, including representing the world of organic farming, including stormwater, sanitary sewer. There's an overlap with wash rag, okay? S-rag and wash rag. So we'll see how that plays out. You do all that, but you got to tell your story, folks. Remember, it's not enough just to do good. Show the world you're doing good, because we want people to see that we're doing good. There's a couple other things I want to talk about briefly. Shaker Meta says we expand our reach by each one bring one. You probably heard that already, okay? You said it in a variety of ways through the years. But you know what? Sometimes we Rotarians are not good salespeople. We don't close deals. We're not very intentional about inviting a friend or someone over to the meeting or to our project or to our topless poker run or to our golf tournament. Maybe we do, but we're not all that great. So we're not going to jump from 1.2 to 2.4 million people in 1 year during Shaker's presidency, but we are going to be very intentional about increasing our membership. We're going to also train people and bring them into, let's bring them into a welcoming club, okay? Kind of bring new people into a welcoming club. Make it a good experience. We can engage people in other ways. So how do we enhance engagement? Well, who knows about the Learning Center? Rotary International's Learning Center, right, exactly. And I'm taking a course. I'll tell you a little bit about a course I took in a second, but we're down to 5 minutes. So we enhance persons' engagement in Rotary by mentoring people. We bring in new talent to the club. We mentor them. We engage them in committees. We advance them as they become president nominees, et cetera. Bottom line is, we're in a stage where we can no longer afford to have second-year Rotarians being president-elect of a club. We shouldn't have to do that. We should have institutional knowledge and we should have depth. And Bill, what do we call it? Over-engineering. We need some redundancy. We're gonna build strength. A bench, a bullpen, okay? And that's what's happening. I see you're very successful in this club. Other clubs would love to be as good as you are. Finally, how do we increase our ability to adapt? We learned how to do fundraising during COVID. You're doing a great job with the hybrid meeting. I gotta tell you, this is so important to have a hybrid meeting. And I'd like to be able to say hello to people out there in TV land, but I know they're not there. Maybe another time. I'm gonna tell you something about the ability to adapt. And this is what I call the silver bullet. Who remembers the Lone Ranger? Silver bullet, remember? What was the silver bullet? What was the silver bullet? How about this? How can you accomplish all your goals with one stroke? How can you, I don't want to say kill two birds with one stone, but the point is, how can you accomplish the most, the least? It's by being smart, not working hard, but working smart. So there's something called Rotary Days of Service. And has anyone ever heard of Rotary Days of Service? Who has? Who said yes? You got a pin already. You're gonna get a pin. I'll slip one to you during the board meeting.
I've only got the pin.
Bottom line is Rotary Days of Service is a word that's used loosely, and we used it loosely in the last district conference it was a virtual district conference, but it is a very thought through and thoughtful approach to achieving membership, fellowship, service, and increased giving to the foundation in one stride, okay? Okay, a little bit about it. The details will come to my email tomorrow. Rotary Day of Service contemplates bringing new people in. So you do it through service. Look, service is the transformational thing. Everybody wants it, new members want it. Young people want to be better people. We want to be our best selves. And Rotary gives us the platform through service. Find some, do a community assessment. 2015, we need a community assessment for global grants. And Cindy will tell you need to do it for a district grant as well. So pick something that's needed. Pick it in an area of focus. Maybe the environment, for example, which is our new area of focus. Work with your interactive Rotaract club. Work with other clubs. Finally, bite off more than you can chew. Pick a project for which you don't have enough labor in your club, or with your Interact or your Rotaract club. These are your new members, okay? People who are sympathetic to what you want to do. Tell me about a project you'd like to do. I know you do hunger. Let's do an imaginary one, okay? Here's an imaginary one. We're going to plant trees in Community Park in Emmaus because those that are there are maybe falling over. Maybe there's some stormwater erosion along the stream that we want to control. Okay, so we're going to plant some trees, but we don't have enough people to get it done. We look to our friends. We look to people who might want to get involved in that. You know, an arborist who isn't in your club. There might be one, right? And I got to tell you, my son and his generation, they love environmental things. They're the ones who are going to have to live with global warming. They're the ones who are going to have to live with our dependence on fossil fuels. I'll be gone. They've got to live with it, and their kids. They're a little more thoughtful than perhaps I am about this. So bring them in. They're perfect candidates for Rotary. They want to be better people. They want to serve. Bring them in. Do pictures ahead of time. Promote it in your trumpet. Promote it on your website. Promote it on Facebook. And when you're doing the project, this is what I learned on the Learning Center, okay? Take pictures, not of people standing there with pitchforks like American Gothic. What kind of a stiff? I don't want to belong to that club. They're all stiffs. Do something smiling, okay? Come here, Diane. Come here, stand up. Diane, you have 2 rigs filled with garbage. We just cleaned out Community Park in Emmaus. Come up here and face the camera. Okay, this is the camera. Now, this guy is going to take a picture of us. I'm going to hold a garbage bag, okay? You're going to take your stuff and dump it in this garbage bag. But when you do it, we're going to look at the camera and smile. Look at the camera. Drop your mask. We can be. Okay, ready? Now look. Put your garbage in this bag. Look at the camera. That's right. Hey, we're having fun.
I think she deserves a pin. Okay, so at the end, then you put it on Rotary Showcase, which is, I'm not gonna ask you what it is, I'm just gonna tell you. Rotary Showcase is a section of the international website where people brag about what they've done, their projects. And if you've done all these things, oh, and by the way, you have to go back to the 25%, you have to invite to a meeting. We're gonna have a good speaker, we're gonna have another service project, why don't you come and join us? Look, that's part of closing a deal. Realtors understand closing a deal, but we're all in sales, okay? And we're all in the membership community. So that's how this works. We go back to these people and say, you had a good time, look at the pictures, you were smiling, hey, you were smiling. We had a good time, we were transformed in our service, okay? So you do that, you post one in the Rotary Showcase. Lo and behold, Shaker Mayer, the president of Rotary International, awards you something. What do you think he gives you? Gordon, what the heck do you think you get from Shaker Mayer? Do you think you get a pin? Well, you know what, Bill, maybe you do get a pin. That was a good guess. It's actually a citation, but Bill, you didn't do it for the citation and you didn't do it for the pin. You did it for the increased membership, the service, the fellowship, and increased giving to the foundation. Because that's the silver bullet that covers all the things that are priorities. You're in the foundation, you know about this. Membership yields excitement, yields giving, and that's important stuff. So folks, what I'm saying to you is that you can use the platform that Rotary gives you to be a really good person. In fact, you can be your best self in Rotary. And I ask you please to join me in using this Rotary platform to be your best selves. Thank you. What's your time?
You have questions for Bob? You have questions, John? I'm going to give you a couple more minutes.
Well. So was there a question someone had? Tomato to throw? What did you want to do? Tomato. See, that's too quick. Well, if there wasn't a question.
Okay, thank you.
Let me just say thank you.
Cindy and Ray, could you come up here, please?
Hi, Bob Hobaugh, District Governor.
Hi, Cindy Gorman, past District Governor and Foundation Chair.
Thanks for coming to the Emmaus Rotary Club. As we know, we are the best club in the district. I'm allowed to say that now. So on behalf of Emmaus, we'd like to present you with an Emmaus flag.
Oh, that's cool.
And we know that your theme is chart your course, and you've worked very hard. So if you'd like to open that, we have a special gift to present to you from the Emmaus Rotary Club that is handmade.
May I share this with the members of the
That's
National
the idea.
Club? Oh my gosh, it is a little fragile. It's a lot fragile. Okay, please don't pick it up. Okay, Right. This is silly. This is something that I will put in my window at home.
But it won't fall apart.
Well, you know,
It's a 5-minute deal.
We'll put some more solder on. That's great. Thank you very much. That's a very.
Bob, you have to look at the camera.
Okay. And do I smile?
An action.
That's right. Okay.
I had to call you.
That's great. Okay. Oh, you were gonna have me hold that? Yeah, it'll be fine.
Well, I thank you for being here. Wonderful message. I'd like to think about it. I'm gonna have to watch that video again.
You got the 20
There's
minutes.
just so much information there, and just so much about service and how we can all benefit from it. So thank you. I think excellent. I think really a nice round of applause for Bob. I know he is. His hand to anyone who was willing to do that, so thank you, Bob. Okay, let's close with the four-way test, and then we're gonna have our picture, so don't go anywhere, all right? Four-way test are the things we think, say, or do first.
Is it the truth?
Second.
Is it fair and all concerned?
Third.
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Fourth.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you. Okay, I believe we're gonna have our picture right up here.
Okay.
Sal-
All six
Sal
photos
is
in the
gonna
back.
direct this.
Just really quick, all six photos in the back. That's right. What are people up front?
No, okay, I'll do that. Say, hey, listen.
Good morning, everybody. I just would like to thank you, and I learned a lot today, and I see the amount of work we do over the block. Especially in my country, I was looking at the flags there, Mombasa, Kenya, Nakuru, Dar es Salaam. So I really would like to thank you. I learned a lot, and I'm going to share you about the road. So let's see what to do.
Okay, that's good.
Thank you very much.
I got a You're okay there. Okay, so if you were tall in fourth grade, get in the back. Not sit the front. You're different. Just one, yeah, I'm gonna straight there is good. Like, I will be with it.
Can we frame a middle ground?
I will. It's okay. JP, go that way. And back, we're gonna move over a little bit. Get everybody in. I'm sorry. You can take your masks off for the picture unless you really want to leave it on. Oh, that'll be good. Right there. Smile. Everybody in. You can see the camera, that's great. And they can see you.
Is this gonna turn on so I can see?
What's that?
I'm gonna turn on?
No, you have to look through the viewfinder.
Okay.
Oh, no, I said large. Can you see everybody?
Yes.
Thank you.
Check it first.
Check it, Sal, before we leave.
Nope, he got it.
Thank you, everyone. We're gonna have a board meeting here in 5 minutes. We're gonna clean the tables. Robert, if we can get the tables clean. Good job today. David, thank you. What you think?
Ask Robert right now.
So we're 3 tables here.
Right. And I'm gonna do a product sample as well.
All right, so.
I know. I said the same thing. I said that. I said that too.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, help us out here. We're gonna use these 3 tables to help us clear everything else on the other tables. Okay? We can help clear the tables, remove everything in other tables. As always, go forth and do good. Right, Megan?
Yes.
Go forth and do good.
Do good.
It's okay.
This is fine. Thank you, ladies.
And you guys, hurry, give us 5 minutes or move into another room. Oh,
The correction right here?
Thanks.
Thanks. Okay, so we're clearing this stuff up. Yeah, I'm gonna put it underneath.
I know that.
I didn't look at it. You saying right there?
Yeah, yes.
Mike, I'm certain you don't need 7 minutes?
I do, I need the
agenda.
I need it. Throw a few on each table. Okay, I'd like to have all the board members up here, please, at these tables in particular. With the board members up here. If this works, I'll just try and go in the middle. This is gonna be a little right here.
Or head of the table, because you are the president.
It's just a little cumbersome. I'll do it from here.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I think
John blows. Let's go, board.
Look at this. Look at this. I actually read your email and printed it out. And let me see what you gave me.
Wait.
Status report.
Little phone still active.
Oh my gosh, look what you did. You did the right thing. You could have read that right off the top and got a pin for that.
I'm a rule follower. Any rules I break are my own.
I think I noticed that you're a rule follower. That's good. That's good. Now, did you not get a pen?
I did not.
But I promised you one, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
You did. Let it be said that you got him. Okay, good.
Well, actually, you're. Okay, you ready, Eric?
Ready?
Okay, board members, all board members up here at the table. Okay, Jim, do we have a quorum today?
Yeah, we do.
I haven't found them, but I think. Or Megan? Megan?
Mike, right behind me.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna call this meeting to order. And we'll do, motion to approve the minutes of August 26th. We'll do that first. Jim? Any thoughts? Any corrections, changes to the minutes from last month?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second?
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Jim. Jim does a great job with the minutes. In fact,
He does.
today, Jim, are you going to record today? Jim, go ahead.
Well, I called Mike the other day and he gave me several good ideas. The secretary's report, I think, has two functions. One is to record what we do, so we can go back and refer to it. We almost never refer to it, and Frank, I carry 2 years of minutes with me, but whenever a question comes up at the board meeting 2 or 3 times, it's happened. It takes you longer to find the right entry than someone remembers, oh, here's what we said. So I don't think it really works too much in that role. I think it's also a way of communicating with the members, so they have a sense of what we're doing, which people are in which committee heads, and the things that are coming up. But it's a real tedious job. And so the way I do it is I scribble notes, then I go to the trumpet, I go to the agenda, I go to this report, my report, the web, the internet, I mean, anything. I send emails to Cindy and emails to Karen to fill in details. And it's really a pain in the neck to tell you the truth. Mike gave me several good ideas. He said, first of all, why don't we record the meetings? And I'm gonna start that here in a minute. Nobody objects. I don't want to go through a recording all the way from beginning to end, but Mike said, well, just when you have this, usually 2 or 3 places I'm struggling, and maybe I can use that as a tool. Mike also threw out another good idea, and that is maybe our minutes should just record who attends, secretary, and treasurer report, and then by the agenda items, what our decisions are. What we voted on, what was approved, what wasn't approved, and simplify it. And the upside of that is a lot less tedious. The other upside of that is it says to club members, you want to know what's going on, you got to go see it. That would be useful. Alicia gave me another idea that Allentown West did. They had a secretary in the same position. And what the Allentown West Club said was, listen, we'll tell you at the end of every discussion, the president or someone put this down, this down, this down, and that was how it was done. I propose if you're willing that we go to join the idea of having just decisions recorded. And I'd say that I'm not sure I want to do the minutes in October. If we don't do something like that, because it's too tedious with the job. It's my thought. Has anybody got any direction or guidance?
Yes.
Yeah.
With the way we're working right now, Jim, this speaker that we have should be picking you up perfectly. So as we'll test after this meeting, we're recording the meeting because again, it's for the benefit of all Rotarians. So we're continuing to record.
That's
And
good.
everything.
That's
So
very
what I noticed last week, when like Rick stood up in the back of the room, this microphone picked him up as if he was standing right next to it. So we're hoping with this improvement here, with what you're doing, Jim, you won't have to worry about recording. It's already going to be recorded and you can flip right through this once we upload it to YouTube, which I will do later on today.
Okay.
You can just go to the recording and flip through as fast as you want and hopefully everything will be perfectly clear. But that's what today is a test again of doing that.
Good, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think to get some brownie points here with the district governor, I think we can be flexible here. And as he said, to change a little bit as we're going forward, the collective memory, if we have questions about discussion on any of the motions that are recorded, will be stored for us anyway. And it'll be much better than any minutes that I know I can take. So the collective memory of the meeting will be there for anybody who wants to go back and hear any discussion that we have. So we can use technology to be our friend to help us here and to save some work for you. If the board is okay with that, we can do that. Cindy, you have.
I have a question, okay, because I agree with you. What do we do in your proposal? We oftentimes have discussions. I think those discussions should be noted. A discussion was held on X. Could be a controversial subject we need to report. And we have tabled, like last month, we have tabled that discussion for the following month. So if you can add, you don't have to put the whole discussion in,
but that way there is a written record. That would be my only other suggestion, and be flexible, do whatever you want. That's my
Well, the net of that is when we have something that's postponed, or it's going to go to subsequent, put that in,
or a discussion, an issue came up regarding X, further discussion will
Yeah.
take place. Just one sentence, so you don't have to ramble about whatever.
Sal, you have a thought?
No, I just say I agree 100%. The bottom line is we should put decisions in and not editorialize in the sense that everyone has an opinion. There are lots of opinions, and it really doesn't matter until the decision is made. So I agree. And since it's recording, it's memorialized.
One thing that we've done, I was taking minutes for another board, and I totally agree that we should just absolutely simplify this as much as possible. One thing that's really helped this year is we're using working minutes. And it's, this is something you can think about maybe in 6 months, but what we did is we used the exact same document for the whole year and we just add on to it. So like we might just under a topic say on this date, we added, we confirmed this. So that way, you don't have to go through each minute document to find what happened. It's like all there on one document. At the end of the year, you've just got one document that has everything on it.
John Blows?
I just have a set of keys that was given to me, I'm assuming if somebody was here at the meeting.
Jim, are you good to move
Are
forward
you
with
gonna
this?
find me?
Pardon?
You have what you need
I think so. I'm gonna just do a simple one. Try it out. But one of the things, you all get a chance to review the minutes 7 days before we release them. That's a big help because several of you keep me on track and clarifying things. Sometimes my memory, what happened last time is we had the mass discussion. I had 2 sentences. Oliver had talked about, but weren't actually in the content of the meeting. And Mike said, oh, look, that wasn't really said. That's the kind of thing that happens. I mean, I am being selective. You know, the way anyone else can't be, but I hear and what, so minutes are somewhat.
All right, thank you, Jim.
We'll
It's
try
very
it.
important what we do, particularly as you think about what you're doing and going through past minutes and so on and little trumpets, to think about people 50 years from now, looking at this, looking at the recordings.
Pity them.
Whatever it is.
They have nothing better to do 50 years from now.
There's going to be another Roger 50 years from now. Trust me. Jim does a great job with this. This helps make it a little more efficient, a little more doable for him. And I'm fine with this. Any objections to what we're suggesting here? Okay, let's move it forward and do it that way. I think there's a motion on the floor. Did we approve the minutes?
Yes.
We did. Okay, thank you. I'm going to turn it over to Bob.
Secretary report. You wanted that?
Secretary, yes.
Are you going to bypass?
I knew I missed something.
Secretary and Treasurer.
Actually, I have Bob going before Secretary and Treasurer.
Okay.
Let's not get into that.
Bob is next.
Thank you, President Mike. My job as district governor is to, well, I think I explained to some people, I'm not really so much of an administrator as I am a cheerleader. And not just a cheerleader, but I have to do some checking. I think there's something that I have to come to the board meeting. And, Cindy, you may know this better than I, but the point is, I want to see how you work together. But I also have a couple questions. First, some praise. I received a copy of your constitution, bylaws, and action plan. Oh, and goals, okay? But the action plan was put together using the form the late past district governor Linda Young and I assembled. That's become a model for Zone 28 and Zone 32. That's Canada and North America. Remarkably, in your own district, they don't all use it, but I thank Mike and your crew for putting it together. I also want to say that in addition to receiving those documents, I have one question to pose to you. Now, in the court of law, you would object to the form of this question, but it's all about how we recruit people and set up our presidential succession in our club. So the question is, how do we identify the Emmaus Rotary Club? Identify, recruit, mentor, and advance members with leadership ability, and hopefully young members too. So remember, that's a compound question. Identify. You see them out in the world. How do you recruit them? How do you get them in the door? How do you mentor them? Put them through an education program and advance them. How do you put them through a committee system and learn the ropes and become some bit of the institutional memory? So if you have a membership chair who could address that question, or a mentorship chair who could, or a president,
You posed the question to me, so I have the answer, but I'm gonna refer it to like.
Okay, go ahead.
I believe that what we do is, thanks, and I will commend Pet's training for this, because it goes to the membership piece. In the Pet's training, and you all know, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed some days, but if you keep hitting me regularly, I'll figure it out. You can use that if you want to.
No. In the court of law, you don't have to ever make an admission against your own interest.
Well, I kept seeing a similar theme through Pets in regards to membership.
Yeah.
I finally started writing some things down. I said, they keep talking about finding new members, recruiting new members, inducting new members, orient those members, retain those members, and if people leave, what do we do? Exit.
Exit interview, yeah.
So we created the Friore model, which we now use.
Spell that for me.
FRIORE. Find, recruit, induct, orient, retain.
I remember
exit.
this.
I knew you'd get it. at
Yeah,
some
no.
point.
I remember you telling me about this long before you were president. You put this together.
This was done last spring.
Yeah.
This was one of my goals as I was preparing and going through Fred's training. I saw enough of those elements that I actually wrote them down. That makes like an acronym of some sort. So in answer to your question, the first part is finding. I'm taking on as recruiting. I'm trying to get, I will find one or two more people to help me. Jim's group is going, working group is going to point me in the right direction to go find some more people, particularly underrepresented members of our group. To the young people here and finding leaders, I ask, Wade has a great statement, and it's matching players to positions. He's a
Personnel
sports
and
guy.
matchups.
You gotta match them up.
What is it? What is it?
Personnel and matchups. You have
Personnel
to
and
write
matchups.
people in the
I
right
adjusted it a little bit there. So I asked Wade and Courtney, who I consider to be young members, both in age and in experience. So I recruited them to run the membership program. As a former principal, I learned long ago, you're only as good as the people you have around you. And I wanted these two to run the membership program, which are doing a great job. So, and also on their teams, as we created a recruiting team and induction team, orientation team, retention team, and so on. They serve through the orientation and retention teams under the Friore model. Now, also with that, Megan, who I also consider a young member for her age and its experience, she has been recruited to be a leader in this. Actually, Laura, who is here, is on several of the committees that we have. We had a young man right now, Sarah, who is on some committees, but unfortunately has left the club. Wade, Courtney, Mike Irwin is young to the club. We're trying to get him to do more. Mario Casubo. We also last year, in Lex's direction, created four more fundraising teams. And for those, I asked people to get involved, and those are some of our younger members as well. So we are through our model, we are bringing people in, particularly on teams, on the fundraising membership. Or where's Rose here today? Rose Galliano Phillips, who you exchange. I consider her to be a younger member as well.
Yeah.
She's doing a great job. The other part of it is the succession plan that we have here. I was amazed. I thought everybody did what we do. Our succession plan is in our bylaws of how we come to have a president. It's the current president, the immediate two past presidents. Think about who's in the club, and then make a decision who they want to ask to be the next president. Why? So I'll take Eric as an example. Eric is our newest going to be wannabe president. I don't know if wannabe, but that's right. So Eric right now is on a little bit of a honeymoon. He has until January 1. On January 1, he will take Sal's spot and start doing the trumpet. So we'll do that for the year, January 1 to December 30. Sal on January 1 is going to take over doing the programs, which Megan is doing. He will do the programs for a year. Megan, on January 1, will have 6 months to delve into the PETS materials and prep becoming a president.
So you have a 6 months here where you're not assigned one of those internal jobs to do, but you're still preparing. Now, Megan is also chair of it, and was actually the chair of the fellowship committee. So she's still chairing something else.
Are you the president nominee of this club?
Yes.
Okay.
She's the president-elect.
President-elect.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's the president-elect. So we have really 4 people, including the president, in the pipeline to becoming president of this club. Each one has duties. And I will say, doing the trumpet, doing program, you learn an incredible amount. Find out who's going to show up for the sign-up table and who's not. You learn to work with different venues sometimes with doing the programs, and you're reaching out, you're networking with people. But it all comes, all of us have done things within the club. We've all had experiences, we've chaired committees or whatever, and that's who we move on to the leaders within our club. I was amazed, truthfully, I'll tell the membership this, when I would go to some of the meetings and talk to other presidents and say, well, who's going to be your president, in a couple of months? We don't know yet. We don't know who's going to do it. Maybe I'll just do it again. That just boggles my mind. I mean, we have such a solid succession plan here. We know what the next 4 years are going to be.
That's great. May all of our clubs be as wise as you. May I ask a question, Michael, of your?
I'm done.
Thank you. You mentioned that Wade and Courtney are in charge of membership, orientation, and retention.
No, the whole Freeori model. I'm stepping back. They do the whole Freeori model.
Okay. I'd like to ask Wade and Courtney a question. When I bring someone into your club, assume I'm a member of your club, when I bring someone in, I'm the sponsor. Do you assign a separate mentor to that new person?
Well, we're in the process, the orientation committee, including Cindy, we are finalizing exactly what we are going to do. That's our idea. We have a sponsor and then we have someone who's going to be a mentor. So it's 2 different roles.
Okay.
But we're in the middle of finalizing exactly who we're going to ask and how that's going to be.
Okay. And you're all aware then that not only do we have our internal resources, all the people with all the Rotary knowledge, but we also have Welcome to Rotary, which is scheduled for the 27th of this month, which is an easy way to start to learn about Rotary. Where's Diane? Diane, you should, that's elected. We're going to do that by Zoom. You should sign up for that. It's a great way to get an overall view of this. And then there's Rotary Leadership Interest, the Rotary Leadership Institute. And of course, the Learning Center that we've referenced on Rotary's website. But so you have lots of tools. I just think it's great that you're actually doing a mentoring program that you run people through committees. That's critical. We lose most of our people in the first 2 years after they join. So that's when we have to intervene and we have to make sure that they're on track. It's your club, go ahead.
One of the things that I did, and again, through the PETS training with this model, I'll send this to, under each of the within orientation, Courtney may have 5 goals, 6 goals. One of them was a new member handbook. One is assigning mentors and help those who are coming in. Roger Whitcomb is going to go back and do the fireside chat thing again. I think this model is going to take us a good 2 years to really be up and running and sprinting. Right now, it's inching along because people are busy. These are busy people. They're professionals. They work hard. They have families. It's going to take us 2 years to really have this ingrained in our club. And once it is, I think it's a really solid model.
Oh, I think it's great. And I must say that when President Mike told me about this back in March, I thought, wow, it's really, but Mike was really seeing the vision and understanding that you need governance methods to assure sound health of your club. So I congratulate you for that. And I also congratulate you for backing off and letting Wade and Courtney do it. Okay.
I had to.
That's great.
I learned a long time ago, you hire people smarter than yourself, let them do their job.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think you've answered my question, and I'm really pleased to see what you've got going here. This has always been a great club. This is how I learned about Rotary, through the Emmaus Rotary Club. The first thing I learned was about service and the exchange program, but I'm glad that you're running it. So thanks. Now, if I may, I'll just listen to you do your business.
Thank you. Thank you. We are at
Secretary's report, Jim.
So, you all got electronic version, there's a half a dozen copies laying around, if you want to have one in your hand. We had 4 meetings in August, our average attendance with makeup was 47%, 39% without makeup. So again, people that attend Zoom are considered actual attendees. So we had average makeup of 8%. We had new members, Diane Graham, here she is right here, Bob. She's just made our list of new members.
Oh, yeah.
In the month of August. And Michael Parker joined the club, Laura Grove dropped out, and Dale Breeze remains leave of absence. We have 91 members, plus 5 honorary. And I have a reference to Bassar left the club. I don't know that. Does anybody have a specific? Didn't you say Kevin Bassar left the club?
I thought he left.
No.
No, I don't think he
No.
left.
He's just
I
been very
haven't seen
busy.
him. I haven't
Okay.
seen him in a year probably, but yeah.
I've had mobile interactions with him over the time, so I could update you on the side.
So I think that's the secretary's report. Any questions or comments?
Thank you. Need a motion to accept.
I make a motion to accept the secretary's report.
Second. Discussion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Thank you. Chris, treasurer's report.
Yes, I'll be very brief here. For the month of August, there was a loss of just over $6,000. That was primarily attributable to the dues payments, or the dues payment, I should say, to RI of approximately $4,700. There was a couple deposits related to August, meal deposits that were pushed into September, so that's somewhat of a timing difference. You'll notice that the breakfast charge expense was much higher than the meals deposit revenue, and that's the reason for that. Again, that should reverse itself in the month of September. Fundraising for the month of August, no deposits or expenditures made. Again, I think there were some deposits made in September, so that'll show up on the September report. As far as our account balances, third page of the report, checking account balance of approximately $55,000. Again, as I've been saying for many, many months now, as our carryover expenditures are made, obviously that balance will come down accordingly when those disbursements are finally approved and etched in stone. The investment accounts, which I believe Larry's going to talk to later, without getting into all the particulars, our combined account balance with the Edward Jones accounts is roughly about $97,000. Any questions?
Yes. Chris, you need to just switch 2 lines under the local projects. You have $10,000, and on the food project, you have 1,000.
Yep.
The food project is 10,000.
Okay.
And the local is 1,000, and there's been no money spent on food program.
Okay,
So
I'll move.
if you just switch those lines around.
That's exactly what we'll do.
Cindy. One thing I should mention, I sent Chris a note yesterday about moving $2,000 to shelter box. Chris will take care of putting a check and sending that out there. Thank you, Cindy, for the reminder. Larry, since he mentioned you, why don't you do your?
Okay, yeah, it's been 2 years since the club has done a formal foundation committee report because of COVID. So we finally were able to meet. And I think I've summarized everything in the report, but just the top line, as Chris said, the current value of the foundation is the Emmaus Rotary Club Foundation. It's $94,000.
No, that's the scholarship
Well,
foundation. That is not the Advanced Rotary Foundation.
Okay, it's this.
You need to, for legal purposes.
Okay, it's the scholarship foundation. So we discussed our current investment ratios. We made some changes. And we kind of went into a 5-year plan, which I know, you all know we have our 100th anniversary coming up, and we have a goal for the foundation that aligns with that timeline to be able to support 2 4-year $1,000 scholarships. Basically, the math is that $100,000 is a scholarship That's what it takes to support one scholarship. So there's 10 years, 20 years, 50 years from now, there's no reason why we should stop at 200,000. It's basically, we could increase the amount of the annual scholarship to adjust for inflation. So more is better, but the bottom line is to get to $200,000 with the growth that we're anticipating, we're still going to need additional contributions. So the club contribution every year is going to be important. And we would like to begin re-emphasizing the individual contributions to the scholarship foundation. I know we spend a lot of time encouraging members to donate to Rotary Foundation, but we should also, with 5 years to go, start to focus on individual contributions to this as well. And if we do that, we'll get to 200,000 and the foundation will be sustainable, and the club then is free to either make a contribution or not, because the club won't be responsible for the scholarships every year, the foundation. So that's basically the report. Apologies for taking so long to get one to you, but getting financial people in one room at one time is like herding cats. So
Very busy cats. Larry, a question for you. We don't really have a name for these scholarships. It's just
yeah, as we discussed right now, they're just Emmaus Rotary Club scholarships. We had talked about calling them the Service Above Self Scholarship, but one of the things that Mike and I talked about was, we could potentially make some very large asks, as they call them in the nonprofit world. And in exchange, or the quid pro quo for, say, $100,000 donation to the scholarship foundation would be a name aspect to it. So, I'll come up with a fictitious name. I think I used Bob Smith in this, but if we had a Bob Smith who, or Roberta Smith who wanted to donate $100,000, we could say, great, it's now the Roberta Smith / Emmaus Rotary Club scholarship, and $100,000, as I said, is the increment necessary to fund one scholarship. So we're roughly done funding one. We're now moving on to funding the second. But if somebody wanted to write us a check for $100,000, and as I said, we can just keep going. I mean, we can have 5. We could be a scholarship machine at Emmaus High School. Who knows? I mean, what we can do. The only thing that I would see would be an impediment is, and this is something we dealt with back when I was president in 99, 2000, was, at least back then, there was a very parochial attitude towards the money that we raised, that all money in should go out every year. It should be money in, money out, and there should be no standing funds. And we finally were able to prevail upon those people using the Rotary Foundation as an example, that Rotary sits on $1 billion or more of cash every year because they use that money to generate the income to do other things. So we're finally, after, I don't think we got this off the ground until 2012, 2013. So it took 12 or 13 years to get past that objection of not having money standing idle. But now that now that we've done it and we've taken the first step, we're halfway there in like 6 or 7 years. And there's really no limit to what we can do in terms of building this scholarship foundation. I mean, it can't be too big because it just gives us options.
All right, I'd like you and the other members of the group to think a little bit more about how we can make the big ask of some people, and what that would take to do. Bring me a plan or a group plan. But let's talk about it. I think let's try and jumpstart this.
It's pretty easy. It goes something like, hey, Megan, do you have $100,000?
She has millions.
But,
I'll sell some more diamonds.
we can't be presumptuous enough to think that we know who, it has the money. So I think you just have to
make a plan to do it. Who's going to do it?
I have a.
Cindy, go ahead.
Understand. Last month, and it was kind of a surprise to Lex and I, Jeff told us that the plan was for $200,000.
And for some reason, we had all thought when this was started that the original goal was 100,000. So I just want, and the reason, and I'll tell you why I'm asking. So as of almost now, okay, with $100,000, we can support one scholarship forever.
I
I just want to make sure and understand, and I'll tell you why.
So it's basically the principle of prudent financial plan. If you overtax a pool of money, your chances of depleting it are much greater. So a 4% withdrawal assumption is generally assumed to be perpetually sustainable. So again, $4,000 a year is one, it's, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. So that's what we need is at a 4% withdrawal rate, we need $100,000 for $4,000 in scholarships. We need another $100,000 increment for 2 scholarships, et cetera, et cetera.
So we're close to the one now.
Correct.
And the reason I'm asking, and I get that now for the 2 not take time, is that in the so we were looking at the budget with Mike, and as soon as the administration costs are handled, we could be transferring that money from the Administrative Foundation to this to actually get to the 100,000. And that's why I'm asking, so then you really truly have your 100,000, but so that's like the first goal. Now we have to get to the second goal.
Well,
And we always never have a goal because you want as much.
I think under this board's term, you've already cut a check for $9,000, right? So you, I mean, you've already done your thing for this year, but.
Yeah, but this would be extra to get to the 100,000.
And anything additional that you can do will help. And future boards, the 22, 23 board, et cetera, we're gonna need contributions from those boards. We're gonna need performance from the portfolio, and we're gonna need contributions from individual Rotarians to get to this. And, quite frankly, Cindy, it might, our withdrawal might be 4.5%, or, we might even be able to do 5. But I think symbolically, if we can say at our 200 or our 100th anniversary, and oh, by the way, we hit this objective of making this pool of money a reality, that's going to be a really big deal. It's huge.
And Larry, I hope I'm correct that what we do with this 100,000 is then we're funding them with the interest off of that $100,000.
That's right.
So we never touch the principal.
So, right. We never touch the principal. I mean, again, in theory, according to the math and the numbers, we have a $200,000 foundation. We peel off $8,000 a year. We fund 2 scholarships. We have 8 kids coming in here every year to receive their scholarships. And that's a big deal in and of itself. That day when they come and get their scholarship money is huge. And these kids are future Rotarians, by the way. What else was I going to say?
Any others? Need just to move on here. Jim?
So the scholarship is 94,152 to balance. What is the other category? Do you want to reflect another category with another number? I haven't read the email I got yesterday.
The breakdown when we met yesterday was of that 94,152, 9% was cash, and I think that's the $9,000 contribution the club recently did.
Okay, I'm saying the other side of that. What other uses do we have besides the scholarship use?
That's it. That's the only.
That's the only category. Okay, I thought there might be some other category.
There's only one purpose for this to exist: scholarship.
I remember what I was going to say. So in our 100th anniversary is 2026. The goal is in that year, the scholarship foundation takes over the responsibility, because right now the club is paying for the scholarships.
Yes.
We're doing double duty. We're throwing money into the foundation and we're paying the scholarships. So it relieves the club of the responsibility for the scholarships. Now you've got the flexibility of spending that money elsewhere, or you could throw in 8,000 and we could do a 3rd scholarship. But this is a total sea change from where the club was, 10 years ago, because we now have options available to us because we have this foundation in place. So we've done a good job. We're halfway there, and this is the roadmap for the next 5 years.
And I think it goes back to if we could find a benefactor one or two people to kick in the 100,000, that would certainly help. And then we're at that goal. Other questions, just ready to move on.
Real quick comment. The 94,152, obviously a significant portion of that over the last 12 months is the growth in the underlying investments. There's nothing fixed about that, and certainly Larry is better able to comment than I am, but depending upon what happens over the next weeks, months, the balance could just as easily go down, just so we're all very clear here, so.
We're in a very advantageous position right now because we are dollar cost averaging with new money over the next 5 years. So regardless of whether the market goes up or down, which it will do both, we're buyers and it smooths the ride. It's when we get inside of a year of actually needing to the money, that's when we're going to have to change the portfolio to be more of a conservative income portfolio. But we have our eye on that. We're just far enough away from that we can still afford to be growth investors.
I was thinking that 79% is pretty aggressive.
It is.
I was able to
Strategy.
tune-
Strategy. And
I
it's
was able
worked
to
out.
tune into the meeting a little bit the other day. I understood maybe a third of it. Most people were trying to do a good job there. I thank them for giving us. I believe we have a motion on the floor to accept the, do we have, I lost track. Do we have a motion to accept the treasurer's report? Jim, second? Second, Sal. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, moving on. Thank you. All right, old business. Anybody was saying about the golf outing and raffle? I know is they've committed to having a number 2 is by Thanksgiving. Gonna push hard to get the sponsor money in and so on. Update feeding students. Cindy, anything you want to say today?
I sent an email to the board, so we didn't have to take time. The only thing for those of you who didn't get the news yesterday, Beth Laura at Bethel Pantry, who coordinates us with Second Harvest, is resigning her position. It's a volunteer position that they not had anyone to replace her. They're looking for a volunteer. I've invited her to come to the Emmaus Rotary Club and already talked to Ashley. So we'll be talking to the pastor next week because we don't want to lose the Second Harvest. And what we did was I ordered like double the food we needed for next month to ensure that we have higher inventories and no cost. We'll keep you guys posted. You got all the foundation and all that. So
I know you sent an email yesterday. Thank you, Cindy. Lisa, you had something? Oh, you're just flexing your wrist there.
She just knows about it.
Yeah, please don't pay attention to me. If I have a question, I'll speak up. Yes, I have to flex my hand, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Every day.
I
Every
should
day.
have recognized that. Okay, so feeding program. Nicole, Karen,
We still need to talk to Linda about putting a sign in the space that we took it out of. So I think it needs to be in something solid, you know, but I can't do that. So I need to look out to somebody in the club who can put that together.
what has happened there is Weiss has said they really don't want any shrubbery. They don't want anything else in there. It becomes a maintenance issue, and it's not a bus stop. I thought it was a bus stop, but the bus actually goes to the Weiss Market.
Didn't want anybody.
So what I suggested was taking the sign, which is on a pretty rigid post, and I sent a picture, I think, to you and.
Yeah, the
Nicole.
sign's at my house.
It's just a matter of pounding it. You want to do it there? Or ask Weiss if it's okay to put it there,
Yeah.
and then we'll just pound it in and it'll be done.
How big is the sign, may I ask?
Oh, it's huge. It won't
It's
quite
a-
go in it.
It's a big rotary sign.
It might not be very concrete. I'll talk. You can come up to my house and see it.
What I suggest, there's a planter right around the Weiss big sign there. I suggested putting it there. It's not in the way when they mow then or trim or anything. I'll leave that up to Nicole. and Karen. Eric?
Well, just to refresh my memory, I was there the other week at that last week at that intersection. There is that big area of shrubbery that sits about 50. I thought that's where we originally had everything.
No.
We were closer. We were closer to the corner.
No, we were right in the middle. There's sort of a
Okay,
weeded patch.
right. Because I was thinking that
That's
shrubbery is
where
a great backdrop to, because it's darker in color to whatever sign you put there. Maybe angle it a little bit so it's facing more
Yeah,
City Crest Boulevard.
there was definitely an optimum place of putting that.
Okay.
That
Wade?
Just for my edification, because I always believe in cost benefit analysis, what's the projected cost of all this and how much time do we think this is gonna consume?
Well, right now, we're just at a point of just pounding the sign.
Okay, because my question is just that, I want to confirm that's a good use of our resources. And so I just want to see like what the cost versus benefit is of it, because it's been a point of discussion for like several meetings I've been present for, so I just want to make sure that it's not like consuming resources.
One of the slowdowns in this has been that the manager at Weiss has been a little slow in responding to emails. And finally, it came back from corporate, I guess. They didn't want us putting shrubbery in. They don't want to put a plant and a patio in or anything like that. So I don't want to lose that corner. I want to put it right by the Weiss sign, or look where Eric is. I know exactly where he's suggesting. And so there's really no money involved in this. It's just getting it out of Karen's garage and pounding it in.
So why not move it to another location? I know you said you didn't want to lose the corner. The question is why?
I said it's a great corner. It's a lot of traffic there.
But
But as you know,
there's
you go through
corners
there.
there. I mean, we could talk to the other across the street perhaps. I mean, I'm just curious, because it sounds to me like this whole discussion with Weiss and all that, I'm curious as to the benefit of it, that's all.
They've been extremely helpful with food donations, better than any other grocery store. And when this was first started, it was all volunteers, no cost, shrubs donated, etc. Somebody looked, it might have been Jeff Boyer, of the traffic flow, and that corner going into Emmaus is a main corner. Simple as that.
No, that's not exactly.
That
The
was what I
planter was
remember.
there because of the 2009 celebration. I got it there.
Oh, the
The
original.
borough built it for the 2009 celebration. The Emmaus Garden Club took flowers and put 2009 in flowers. When 2009 was over, everybody said, what are you going to do with this? And I came to Rotary and said, hey, that might be a good place for a Rotary sign. Jeff Boyer got involved and started planting it with the
It's done
committees
a
and
great
so on.
job, but you know.
So
over
that's
the
how it
years,
started, but then it's deteriorated. And we got lucky, the borough actually took it away in one day.
Yeah.
I emailed them, I don't know who swooped in with what, but I came by another day later and it was gone.
Yeah.
But to answer your point, I think it's a very visible place, a lot of traffic through there. But I understand why Weiss doesn't want it. What was there before was easy to mow around, they could trim around it, it wasn't a big deal. Eric?
And back to your question, Wade, it's marketing. We'll have the biggest presence of any service club in our community at that intersection saying Emmaus Rotary. So to me, it's an ongoing marketing expense for our club, which is what our district governor, mentioned this morning.
Somebody just said that this morning.
And for many years, Rotary has been very quiet about what we do. And to me, it's like, what? I'm in retail. You got to let your clients know what to do and what's happening. And so that's to me, that's a marketing expense.
Okay, so Karen, you'll let us know then, get permission to put it one of those places. I don't care which one, but let's get it out of your garage. It's not doing us any good. The next thing is making a difference.
Making a difference, they've got several, with finessing the times and who's, I need a member of each Rotary member to sort of be in charge of one area. So you're in charge of
I
the
have to remember this
remembrance.
card. I'll do the Canals Homestead.
Yeah, and I'm going to link those two together because they're so close.
Yeah, they're side by.
Yeah.
Well, you can put them together if you want.
Yeah, but I have been in touch with Jim Hess of Wildlands, got something of Wildlands, Halloween parade, as long as it all goes ahead, Halloween parade. And then the Zion's Church is the following week because we just couldn't do it on that day and they were doing something. And Miracle. So I am in touch with the high school. But there is an exam that day. Which is not fair.
Oh, the PSAs or something, SATs.
Uh-huh.
To your point about day of service, this is really what our day of service is going to be, October 16th and other events, October 23rd and so on.
Do you have enough time to lay the groundwork for that?
We're already doing it
Good.
for a couple of weeks.
I'm gonna send you that thing so you can see the PDF. I sent it to our assistant governors and that was part of the district training assembly, training for them. Maybe you can pick up a few things. You may not believe in a silver bullet, but you might as well get some membership out of your service.
That's what we want to do, and it's not just for our members, it's for people who think, and that's how we're promoting it. You think somebody'd like to join, well, bring them, let them get their hands dirty and take that picture with the smiles. I'm never going to.
Neither will Diane.
And we've done this for several years.
Yeah.
This is not our first year doing it. This would be like our 4th year of doing it. We've helped out with the Halloween parade for years.
That's great.
As well, and clean up afterwards.
It's a really
So-
good
That's how I found out about Brd.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I just happened to be walking by, and they were planting trees, and I talked to them, and I was like, is this really cool? That's so cool. Yeah.
Cool, that's cool.
Thank you.
We did it, guys.
A success story. Marketing.
So the sign up genius will really help with that.
Yes, it will. Thank you, Karen. You're doing a great job with that. Moving on, Rotary means business. Wade, you're coming with me that night on the 30th.
Yep.
And Cindy, you'll be there. Oh, that's great. That'd be super. That'd be fun. That's up at 8 Oaks. Anybody else wants to join us? Purple Pinky, I'm surprised Lex is not here today. But, that's October 2.
We have
She's setting
7
up the team.
people on our team so far.
Who's on your team?
What time in the morning is it?
Who's on your
I don't
team?
know, I can be there 7:30.
Cynthia, are you on the team?
Yeah, but I don't want it.
You don't want
I'll
it?
take, look at those are masks.
Yeah, these are free masks.
I'll take 7 of them.
No,
I need a mask.
I don't want anything, but I'll take 7.
Okay, look, this is for the Emmaus team.
Yay.
Okay.
Very good.
Hey.
And I'll sell these for $1 million.
Yeah. And while I'm giving things away, I just want to say something about your president, Mike Waddell. He was great in pets, but he didn't have my pets live. This is his petfolio. And Florida is so glad to get it out of the garage.
Oh, thank you for that.
Now it goes to a new garage.
Thank you. That's pretty cool. I like it. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I do.
Yeah.
That's petfolio. Yes, sir.
Okay, so Purple Pinky, we're actually looking for a cape for Alexa. That's our princess. We're looking for,
Oh
still
my
looking for a
gosh.
pink cape.
How about a tiara?
No, she wants a purple pinky cape.
Okay, well.
So if you come across a cape somewhere.
Give her what she wants.
All right, moving on, mass decision, that was from August 26th. Eric, I know you did a little bit of work on this.
Good.
So what do you have for us?
I've handed out for everybody, again, just, I realize this is a delicate issue for many people. I'm not looking to change science or anybody's opinions, but as a fact checker, number checker, that kind of stuff, all I'm doing is recommending that we just go with mask optional. All right.
Eric,
The-
talk about-
Oh, sorry, Commissioner, no, thanks. I've been following things quite heavily since actually last June. So basically, all I want to focus on here is where you're going to have on the highlighted yellow section. We're just going to talk about 4 states that are here as to how critical, that the masking part is or is not. And like I said, I'm not looking to change anybody's opinions. I'm not looking to change science, right? But what we'll look at is on your, we have, I'm looking at in the highlighted section, that's in the yellow. You have 4 states, Arizona, Pennsylvania, New York, and Florida, that are individually highlighted as of 9/16 with their fatality rates. The next column is cases per million population in 1,000. So, and that's as of 2 weeks ago. So Florida would have been at 145,000 people per million. What we look at there is they in Arizona, which, and they ask the stars by their names, means these are states without masking mandates. For I realize there are individual things going on in those states, but they are states without masking mandates. They understandably have more people who have COVID, but their fatality rates are lower than New York and Pennsylvania, who have strict and have had strict masking mandates for it. So to me, I looked at it and just said, well, I understand anybody's desire to wear a mask. I'm not an anti-masker. I'm not an anti-vaxxer, right, type of thing. For it, I just look at making objective conclusions to things. So that's where I was at here, is that for those who wish to wear a mask, fine. Those who do not wish to should be fine as well. For Allentown West meets here, they are not masking. Brookside has no masking mandate. The state has no masking mandate. All right. I don't feel our club needs a masking mandate. For I just feel, and I make a motion that we just go to masking optional. I can discuss more information further. There's more information there. I'm happy to do that. I don't want to belabor the point, but it's more just the last few pages are actually talking specifically about Pennsylvania. And where does my information come from? All right, it comes from the CDC, comes from WHO, is where the information that I have documented on that person I've been tracking. Because like many of us, I'm so frustrated with the media. The media has done an incredibly horrible disservice to our country and the world in the handling of this horrible disease and virus. So I go into number crunching now because I hate the media right now. It's so awful. And I think a lot of people share that same opinion for us. The last several pages are all directly to Pennsylvania. Anybody wants good information? Pennsylvania actually has a very good COVID website. I've been impressed for what they have put together. You can go in and check all the time where the first sheet there is talking about hospital preparedness. It talks about number of patients past 14 days that are hospitalized. Again, as you can see, we obviously had the spike in the wintertime, and we're nowhere near that right now. And back in the wintertime, nobody was complaining about an absence of hospital beds. There were plenty available. The next sheet talks about this is the COVID dashboard, which each one of these are clickable. You can go dig deeper into each one of these. So if you just log into PA COVID dashboard, your Google will probably find it for you. Again, this is all from the state, showing again that we have plenty of ventilators available for people. There are plenty of beds available for people. I just noticed yesterday when I checked this last week's information, the number of currently staffed ICU beds went up by 1,000. There are now 4,500 beds available in the state for ICU for people. The number of respirators, I think, only went up like 4 for us. So again, I looked at, again, the other sheet is just number of people on ventilators. The other sheet, again, is just the overall view of everything for us. So like I said, to me, the data, the proper data supports, just like I said, my motion is on the floor that we just go masking optional. So I'll be looking for a second.
Is there a second to Eric's motion to masking option?
So before we make a motion, is there anybody wants
Motion
to
on the
discussion
floor.
goes afterwards?
Second to move the discussion.
I'll second it for discussion.
Second,
purposes.
thank you.
Okay, and now it's open to
Now
discussion.
discussion.
Okay.
No, I seconded so you could hear it.
Okay, all right, so for me, what I noticed is that since we implemented the mandate last month, that the members in attendance are pretty much still doing what they did before the mandate. So those that felt it was necessary to wear a mask are wearing one, and those that object to it are not necessarily in compliance with the mandate. So I don't think the mandate itself has really done anything major to change the meeting itself. I understand when we had the discussion last month as to why we felt it was necessary. There was some discussion about facts and figures and whatnot. Now we've had new facts and figures introduced. I think that we should probably have a discussion again on this topic. Yeah.
Jim?
I would say very few people wore masks for the mandate. And like I said, one or two other. So the mandate dramatically changed the club. I think that's clear. There's some exception people are slipping on it. I would propose that we go back to Mike Sider, the doctor that's staffing this issue for the district, and present this great data that Eric put together and see what he says, why he wouldn't recommend. He's recommending masks today. At least he was 3 weeks ago. I also wonder if fatalities is the only category we have to worry about. Long COVID. It's another issue.
I think there's a couple issues, and I'm going to be very controversial. So we have about 49 people who are not showing up for meetings. Do we know why? Are those people vaccinated? So we're not going to do mask mandates. Are we going to require our members be vaccinated to attend events? Because I know on an international basis, if we do a project, we will. Now, those are two separate things, so I know that that's not the motion on the table. I also know, having sat at a couple of the tables, we have a big division and people in our club
with those who feel not only they don't need to get masks, they don't need to be vaccinated versus I'm not coming to a meeting because you guys don't have enough rules, and I'm not coming to a meeting because you have too many rules. So this board last month made the decision, and you need to be flexible. So now we're going to reverse the decision. So then the next month, somebody's gonna complain and show some other data, because it's, and are you gonna reverse? So whatever you decide, you really need to consider that. That's fine.
So you can go.
And I'll keep this short too. This is such a tough decision, and regardless of how I feel about it, we're in a leadership position, and I think we have to be respectful of other people. This is probably the most dense event I go to on a weekly basis, coming to a meeting here, because I've avoided other things. I've avoided conferences. I've had things canceled. I see an upswing in the data, obviously, and I'm fearful. Do we want to make it worse? No. Do we want to prolong this? No. I hate wearing a mask. Nobody likes to do that. I want to get rid of this thing, but I feel like we just got to shut it down. I respect what Eric is showing, and I know, hey, no one wants to take the mask off more than me, but I'm being respectful of other people by coming here. I have to come to these meetings. I mean, as a leader in a leadership role, we have to. I'm not going to sit here and go on the Zoom. I'm just not going to do it. It doesn't benefit my fellow Rotarians. So I feel that this is pretty simple to do. It's the only sacrifice I have to make to come to these meetings. I'm willing to do it. And but Cindy stole my thunder. I would like to amend the motion and saying, let's make it optional, but you have to have your vaccination and you have to prove it. But I don't think anybody's going to go for that. It's going to be too stringent, and big brother's watching you, that kind of thing. And so I think this is the easiest thing to do. I'm done.
What about Jim's suggestion about talking to Mike Simon?
Well, actually, you're first, but
I just 3 thoughts. Number one, as I was at the meeting, like, I mean, just practically, we're sitting at a table eating without masks on. And then we stand up and we're singing. Like, that's the worst thing we could be doing, is all singing in the same room together. So, I mean, the little bit of time that we have our masks on is really not doing all that much. So that's just an observation. That's not pro or con. That's saying we are doing some pretty risky things here anyway. But maybe we can reconsider going back. I mean, last week we did talk about having somebody else's guidance, saying, okay, let's use either East 10 school district's guidance, do what they're doing, just like we do for closing and opening, or not like the library does for closing and opening. Do we want to go with Brookside's? Just, instead of us being the ones, because we're divided, going back and forth amongst ourselves, maybe we should just say, okay, we're going to follow whatever so-and-so does. That's one thing we can do.
And Mike, as a non-board member, just as a committee, and as probably as controversial as always, I would say to you that there's many people that feel just like Sal explained. It is just my responsibility to be respectful of your health, as it is to be respectful of my health. I think you find that there are many people in our club who feel that wearing the mask is not just a protection of myself. I'm also thinking about you and respecting you. And for the amount of time that we are supposed to wear the mask here, personally, I don't see a problem. I think that if you would leave it up to whatever people want to do, like Cindy said, you're going to have people who would not come anymore to the meetings. Maybe they'll attend the school meeting, but they're not going to come to the meetings. So it is a very difficult decision, but I agree with Sam. And with Jim. You should consult a doctor, somebody that says, why does Pennsylvania have a lower rate than others? Because this state has been more successful in getting people to wear the mask and be vaccinated. Vaccination in Pennsylvania, and that's a fact, is higher than in many other states that are having many problems. So it is not as simple as just the figures. It really, I think we should consult somebody who is qualified to really give us a good idea of whether or not, because I'm speaking as a member who is not a board member, but I have spoken to other people who don't attend, like me, because I have grandchildren. I have other issues to consider. And so you're listening from a member that is not a board member.
Thank you. Eric?
Megan, you're next.
So
Right now.
before there were vaccines and, when restrictions had come down, we had been doing temperature checks and, coming into the building. Would that be something that would be helpful to make people feel more comfortable? I think we all have to assume our own level of risk and also be respectful of the people around us and gauge the temperature of the room. If you're sitting at a table, you look around, okay, I'm looking up, mostly everyone around me is wearing a mask. Maybe I should also think about wearing my mask just to be respectful of the other people. Or give a little bit more space or whatever we need to do. But we met before there were even some of these other things on the table with extra precautions. Can we maybe layer some of those in to make people feel more comfortable so people can do what they want to do in the meeting? Am I making any sense? If you get your temperature check and you look, that's clear, do you have to wear a mask then if you don't have a temperature? I don't think it's appropriate to demand that someone has a vaccine to attend a meeting. I don't think that that's appropriate, by the way. I think we're gonna lose people on that. And we do have people not attending because of both things. We have people not attending because they're being told they have to wear a mask. We have people not attending because people aren't wearing masks. But at the end of the day, we've offered a hybrid version and people are also not attending that. So what's the real barrier to participation here? I mean, we've offered a level of comfortability for anyone who wants to participate, and that's we're still not reaching half of our membership. What's the real root cause of that? You can't blame wearing a mask or not wearing a mask for not showing up on Zoom. So that's another layer for me that's been bugging me. It's like that has nothing to do with participation.
And Brookside took down the temperature thing when the mandates went away from Pennsylvania and they were under restrictions. So
yeah,
it is. Nellie, you have.
Yeah, I was just of being that we have these two options. The people don't come because other people are not wearing masks. The others, both sides. So is there a way that we can do a survey or talk to the individuals who are actually not coming and find out why? Or even among the members, do a survey and see what you feel, kind of, because it's a very tough decisions that we have to make here on behalf of the other members, either to wear or not wear. And
So I would say the people I called the other day, no one mentioned mask wearing about why they're not here.
did you ask?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I now that the next calls I will, but it was all family, it was work, it was
Right.
whatever, nothing, no one unprompted said anything about mask wearing. It's a good question. Thank you. Eric?
All right, in order to put this to rest, I realize my motion is not going to carry with the sentiments in the room. It disappoints me greatly because it impinges my rights to make my decisions. We can ask 27 doctors, we'll get 27 different doctors' opinions. So I would just call for a vote right now. Are we going
Well, I'd like to say
recommended?
something. I didn't make any
Are we going recommended? Are we going recommended masking? Are we staying what we decided in August, or are we changing to mask optional? I'm calling for the vote right now.
I'd like to make a comment.
Okay.
As president, I'd like to sit back and just listen to all of this. I think that's the role I play, to be neutral, to think about the membership, what's best for the membership, what's fair to the membership, and so on. For me personally, yeah, it's a little cumbersome. I have two problems. First of all, I resent wearing a mask, and I'll be stronger than all of you. I resent wearing it. I'm 71 years old. I can make my own decisions whether I think I'm safe or not. I don't need a board telling me you need to wear a mask because we're smarter than you and we're going to protect you because you aren't smart enough to figure out to wear a mask. Right? So that's how honestly I feel about it. Secondly, I can go to Home Depot, I can go to Lowe's, I can go to Superior Restaurant. I can go pretty much everywhere else except a medical facility and not have to wear a mask. But I have to come to a Rotary meeting and wear a mask. I don't understand that. I can go to a football game. I watch the college football games. Nobody has masks on there. And the problem in my mind is it's the unvaccinated, and they keep bumping up the numbers, and they keep making it, and it's horrible for them, but that's a choice that they've made. It's to me, it's a logical consequence. If you don't wear a mask and you get COVID, that's your choice. That's a bad choice, but it's your choice. It's my choice. If I, as an older person, as elderly as I was told by my neighbor, that if I want to put myself at risk, I've made a lot. I'm a big boy now. I can make that decision. I think it should be optional. I like Megan's option of, well, let's put the temperature thing out there. Let's have people measure their temperature. And if somebody's not, they don't come to the meeting. If they are symptomatic, they should not be in this meeting at all. Mask or not, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm more on principle and the science. I think the science says that as someone who's vaccinated, could I get it? I looked at a list of causes of death. Accidents was number 3. I'm more likely to fall down and get hurt at home or in a car accident than die of COVID now that I've had my shots. So I don't understand. I understand why, because we're good people. We want to protect everybody, but I cannot vote to wear a mask. So Eric, your motion is to make wearing masks optional. All right, do you want to amend it in any way to say anything about the temperature thing?
Nope, my mask is gonna stay the way it is. I believe in democracy. It'll either get voted on or it'll get voted down on.
Okay,
Want to do it? Somebody can make other motions after that,
wherever we go.
but no, my motion stands. It's been seconded. It's been discussed. If we're done with discussion, it's time for a vote.
Another option, and we'll vote on it, is, and I should have mentioned this before, was we could always do a survey of the club, a majority rules. You know, just put it out there and then we get 50, 60 people respond, see what they say. I mean, that's who it affects. Why not survey the club? But right now, the vote is here.
So that's a good point, because there's only 8 voting members here right now.
That's correct.
So I don't know if that's fair. So I'm going to suggest that we table the motion. I know that doesn't solve the issue for next week.
No, I don't want to table.
Okay. The only reason I say is because I think a survey would give you more data.
Let's take the vote and then decide what we're going to do after that.
Can I ask a question? Are we gonna vote on this every single month? Is this gonna continue to go back and forth? every
Why,
month, or-
No, mine is to stay this way. My motion is to stay masking optional.
Forever and ever.
Imply. I can amend that part of it until, which I apologize, I forgot to finish the full one. The amended is to, unless the state issues state mandates. Okay, and we would follow that, but it's masking optional until the state issues a state mandate.
So Eric, in essence, you're saying the guidance is by the state. So when I was saying guidance, I was like, oh, East 10 or the.
No,
but you're saying
we don't do what the
it's
schools
state
do. We're adults here. We're not
No, no,
schools.
that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm saying
she's
let's
just
find the
clarifying.
guidance
Right.
and clarifying.
Yeah, the guidance
You could
would be the
follow
state.
East 10, So you're saying
Yeah,
the guidance.
if the
would be
state mandates masking, fine, we're back to masking.
Okay.
Okay, so Jim, can you read the amended motion? Just so we know.
Motion to make mask optional until a state institutes a mandate. If they do.
I would say unless the state makes a mandate.
Unless
That's fine.
the state makes a mandate.
I'm gonna
I
call-
think I could approve that if it was saying we will follow the state
Yes,
guidance for
absolutely.
vaccinators.
Yes.
I think that's a very reasonable way to do it.
We will follow state guidance on masking, and the current status of that is no mask.
There's no masking currently in the state. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to call for the question. The motion on the table is to make masking optional unless the state implements a masking mandate again. All those in favor of that option, raise your hand.
Like it was a little different. Did we change it to follow the state guidance?
Right, yeah, unless the state issues a mandate, yes.
To follow the state guidelines. All those in favor of that motion as amended, raise your hand.
3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6.
Those opposed?
So that's our new policy.
Okay, what was it, 6-2?
6-2.
6-3, so the motion carries. So Sal, if you could put something into the trumpet for next week, it'll be masking optional. Okay, so moving on, do you think we should put the temperature thing out, ask him to put that out there again, just as a precaution?
I'm fine with it. Sure. Why not?
Why don't we do that? I think I'd feel better about that myself. And so Sal, put that in there as well. What does the board think about, oh, sir.
Could we do something where we, could we agree to say that Rotary Club encourages mask use?
Yes, absolutely.
No.
It's not mandating anything. People can do what they want, but. it
No,
would
because
just
I'll
be
feel
encouraging.
guilty that Rotary has told me to encourage it and I'm not wearing one, so now I'm a bad boy. All right, so optional to me handles is the appropriate word.
How about if we say something about, everyone's encouraged to think about their personal situation
And the health
and
of
to keep
others.
themselves safe.
Well, I don't wear a
You know what I
mask for
mean?
my
I'm not
health.
sure how to say it. but-
I don't wear a mask for my health. I wear a mask for the health of the people around me.
Think about how that would be.
Okay, maybe next year, maybe next month, I'll think about it, but I thank you for bringing this information.
You're welcome.
How do you feel about surveying the club? Or don't we want, now that we made it? What,
I think we should survey the club. I really do. I mean, why aren't people coming to meetings? Is really the question. Are masks anything to do with why people aren't coming to meetings?
what I'm thinking, I was thinking, as I presented the survey was, should we wear masks or shouldn't we wear masks?
Why are you not coming? What's holding you back from
You know,
coming?
It's
to
two
a
different
meeting?
questions.
Well, I don't know. I just feel like we're not getting into everyone's thoughts on masks in this room.
Eric?
Just my thought too, that is, we are charged as the board to make the decisions for the Mayor's Rotary Club. That's why we were elected. If somebody doesn't like what they do, they can vote us out. That's part of government. It is, we are the ones in charge. We are the board. We make our decisions based upon the information that we have. We don't rely on a school district. We don't have to rely on other places, which they have different issues. We're just talking about the Emmaus Road, and we've been charged with that duty. It's basically in our bylaws that we're charged with that duty, and that's what we're doing. I think it would be very ambiguous, as we saw from Jim's very good survey of DEI. We didn't have great number of responses to begin with, so I don't know if it would be valid. I don't think we're not a big enough number to make a scientific validity to it. I think it's fine to ask them, but it should not change what we're doing here at the moment. Because I think the bigger question, which again goes to all the issue, is, yeah, why aren't our, and I chatted with Cindy the other day and others, why aren't our Rotarians re-engaging? They're not. We've got all this stuff set up, and we have 50% of our club that's not re-engaging. If it's because of that, fine. I mean, I think we could do a survey a survey would be fine of why aren't you re-engaging with Rotary? Because that will tell us valuable information moving this club forward.
Well, let me, if I may jump in, and we got to move on.
Yes.
Wade's group in the membership committee, the retention group, that's what they're charged with finding. That's one of their responsibilities. Am I correct, Wade?
Yes, sir.
Why aren't people attending? So
Right, okay.
I'm going to throw that to you, Wade, to start calling and find out where these other 50 people are. And we've got to do that. We need to move on. We need to take care of business. We've got to deal with this membership issue. That's a whole nother issue. All right, I'm gonna, let's move on then. I think it's a discussion. And I will say, you and I need to talk some.
Yeah, I have a call.
I really appreciate this. A good civil discussion. This is what we're about. It's a tough topic. Thank you, everyone, for that. Okay, so let's move on. Just an informational item.
4, 5, 6. Right? 1, 2, 3,
We're losing our
4, 5, 6. So we don't have a quorum.
Okay,
We
so
can't-
no
we
more
can't
motion.
vote on it.
We can't,
just
you
can't
just can't
vote
do
on it.
motion.
Continue, just can't
We can
vote.
do information. Okay, just so you know, Roger Whitcomb called me about a week or so ago about how can we help the Hurricane Ida victims. He's looking into that, connecting with Rotary clubs in the New Orleans area. He is going to tell us more about that later. Cindy?
Shelter box is doing a.
Perfect. Well, he's going to see if we should connect with any Rotaries down there to help them in any way if we can do something. I think he just wants to do a road trip.
So if I can interject, we have significant Hurricane Ida victims right here in our Rotary district. Upper Dublin, Maple Glen, Fort Washington, those places have been devastated by tornadoes. There are entire neighborhoods that are condemned, literally hundreds and hundreds of houses where people cannot move back into their house again. Houses have been destroyed, entire communities have been devastated right in our own district. So if
Thank
we're gonna do something with Ida, I think we can start in and work our way out, and our governor's sitting right here, I'm sure he's well aware of that.
Listen, you have to understand, the shelter box will not aid people in Fort Washington.
Yeah, but we as a district can, right?
But you might want to tell there are several clubs in our district that have been affected and their clubs are doing stuff related to it.
Yeah, we should,
We don't know yet.
we could probably.
Wade is in that business. He deals with insurance claims. He sees the devastation that we only hear about.
Doyle's Canal. They are dealing with their local devastations and Bob being one.
I think in Hellertown, I think some of that got wiped out. Down in Hellertown along the river then.
Yep.
Jim?
Why don't you send a note to Roger, mention the 4 clubs in this issue. Within his scope.
Good idea.
Right, because I don't think Roger at the moment wasn't talking shelter box. He was just
No,
talking,
I
what
wasn't
what can we
either.
do to aid? So,
But
yeah.
other clubs are in the district that have
Yeah.
had damage are working on projects right now.
Yeah,
We could probably use our help.
that's good. I gotta tell you something. I apologize. I took off and took a call. I need people to register for the Purple Pinky. I mean, I know that this is a very important thing, but putting my pants on one leg at a time, I gotta make sure that those 7 or 8 people that you say you have in this club are registered for the Purple
I
Pinky.
think we have 7 registered.
Okay,
Maybe
good.
not.
We're gonna take a look,
Okay.
because I heard that may not be true. I've got to push people to get on for the Purple Pinky. And I would like to hear more about tornado relief in our district. I think it's a great idea, because Shelter Box doesn't deal with us. Shelter Box goes to countries where there aren't resources or wherewithal to deal with devastation. So here, if it's not the government, it's us.
Thank you. Thank you. Wade. Roger. Contact information, and I copied below there where it says from the ERC website, and what brought this to my attention was the brochure that's being printed. So one of the- Cindy and Courtney, Valerie have been putting together a new brochure for us, so we have it, Wade and Cindy out September 30th at that event we're going to. But when you look at the contact information on our website and at the bottom of that brochure, I'm not sure where it goes to. I called the phone number that was on there. It sounds like Steve Gould. Who answers that phone?
I asked that originally what happened, okay? And she's taken that off of the brochure because we don't have it set up.
And also-
We had established for the same reason during Ray Schumacher's and I believe John Shiska. And they had a telephone number you could call and would check it periodically. And I believe that the secretary did it on a periodic, but you don't know any of that. Haven't heard about it for years. That phone number, did you call it? Nothing happened?
Yeah, I got Steve Gould's message.
Then that was changed to him. He's not gonna do it. So to put it on that brochure would have been a waste.
Yeah.
Okay, because we'll have to update that brochure anyway.
Well, I'm
just
glad we
watch
took it
something.
off. We
But you
also
should
haven't seen it.
decide about, should we have a phone number and the method to do it?
Eric?
We do have an email. It's mayorsrotary@gmail.com. So.
But nobody manages it.
Nobody manages, so
Nobody.
would you like some more work to do? I can at least look at it from time to time, but we've reset things up because even I now have a Zoom account that I've bought for the Mayor's Rotary Club, and the Mayor's Rotary email address is part of that. So we have our own Zoom account now. So yeah, we would need to look at who would be able to monitor that email. So that email can at least go on a brochure right now, that we just need to make sure it
Okay,
gets
I'll
monitored.
get with Courtney today because she's gonna take to the printer. However, what we could possibly do technically, because we do it on other websites, is we could take that Gmail, and I don't believe that that's,
info@emmausrotary.org.
okay.
That's
And
what's on
we
the
could
brochure.
transfer, if
And
somebody wants to, like, let's say it's you, the one, through your server, we can have that download directly to your server. Like I have 3 or 4 downloaded to mine,
Right.
just for checking, and then you can change that. But let me, because I don't think that's technically set up right now.
Which
but we
I've
can fix-
already set up, in other words, I can go on, I have multiple Google accounts. So one of them is emmausrotary@gmail.com. So I can check it.
But it's not
anytime I wish.
info at?
I don't believe that we had that one to begin with.
emmausrotary.org. is what's on the website.
Well, okay.
And then, right, so I wouldn't know where that goes.
I can fix that, but right now you have
MaceRotary@gmail.com.
gmail.com. And if Courtney doesn't have that printed, that's what we can, does everybody agree to that?
You can also forward the info to the Gmail.
Right, that's right, that's what I'm.
He's checking the email. You can forward it, like.
What committee would this?
Okay, I will call her as soon as we're done here to make sure she doesn't take it to
So
the
what
printer.
happens on this committee should deal with numbers.
We're gonna just discontinue, we took it off the brochure because it was Steve's cell phone because it must have not worked from John's website.
No, not the
But
website.
that, would that work?
I just went and looked. I had that.
Yeah, that would be great, yeah.
I was sure.
Because I was the one that told her to take that phone number off.
Yeah.
That way you don't have to. Okay, I will call Courtney and report back to everybody. And right now you can check,
And I'll, as soon as I get back to the office, I'll verify. that
verify
is-
with
that-
me,
that's
I'll
right.
get it on the
But, yeah.
website and we can.
Okay, so Jim, in the notes, Cindy and Eric will take care of the email problem.
Right, 'cause just like from my Rotary Club, I handle our email stuff, our voicemails, so I
Right,
wrote
that's what
through
I-
my astronomy club. Because I'm head of public relations there, so everything comes to
And
me.
you can get it
I
downloaded.
I get an email,
Yeah.
that a voicemail is there, blah, 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 so
Would this fall under our club's public relations committee?
to a certain degree, but it might be an informational type of email. I mean, yes, it could be. In other words, public relations would probably be the right place to
Yes.
let them know, go check it.
It would be, let's get it fixed up. We have an
Yeah.
event coming the 30th, needs to be on the website. That explains a lot because once in a while we get calls
That's right.
or we get questions
Yeah.
and this way we can have the website updated.
We need to
It'll
have
take
it
me
up
2
by the
minutes.
30th.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you're right.
Then a committee needs to be responsible for it, so it doesn't happen 5 years
And
from
that's,
now.
that's what happened last time. we put it.
And that would be,
Oh,
that would be public relations, would be one of their duties that they would need to be informed of. Someone needs to check this once a week. You know, and towards an event time, yeah, you might have to check it daily.
So it's in Mayor's.
Yeah, so I'll verify that later once I log online.
Thanks. Moving on to number 3, can we do credit cards to pay at the welcome sign-in table each week? And I thought of this the other day or last week because I didn't have any money. Alexa paid for me. I thought, geez, if I could just do this with a credit card.
Is it on your
Eric and I
number
talked
3?
a little bit about this.
I mean, your number 3 is looking for the 100th anniversary on the agenda.
Number 3 on the back here.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
True number 3.
We were on the front page for new business.
Oh, the 100, I'm sorry, the 100th celebration.
Yeah.
Roger is doing something with that. He's going to bring something next meeting to talk a little bit about the 100th. And he gave me a document. I think I may have included that.
Yep, you
And
did.
we'll talk about that next month. He's doing some really good work with that.
Very exciting.
Okay, the second number 3, doing credit cards.
I'm still watching. Where's number 3?
Backside.
Yeah, there's.
Oh,
That's
you're
the
right.
back sheet.
It's on the very
Yeah,
top.
The fine print.
I think they'll do it. Okay, the answer to the question, like, yes, we can take credit cards at meetings as long as I'm here.
Oh, well, that's.
What it is, I have a
So what,
square
you get the
account.
3%? Is that how it
No,
works?
I get nothing. I actually lose money on it. So we talked about this a couple years ago with Cindy's conference. We had a Square set up. I tested everything the other day. Yes, as long as I'm bringing this and somebody who wishes to pay with a credit card there, all they gotta do is come talk to me. In a second, I can take care of their money.
Where does the money go to?
To me, of course.
Yeah, that's right.
So I would have. to
For the
write-
record.
So and that is for the record. So I would have to write. So eventually we would have to evolve this into the Emmaus Rotary Club would have its own Square account. Because Chris and I talked about it originally, that would directly go to the Emmaus Rotary account. Just makes his job tricky because he's not going to see that all the time. It's like how much came in, how much. So it, again, wouldn't be bad for somebody to monitor this. But just for the moment, yes, if someone shows up, again, I won't be here, sorry, next Thursday, but if somebody shows up, I can take a credit card. It just runs right through my phone, boom, and I get all kinds of accounting.
It costs
Yeah.
$2.77. Costs a little bit of money.
It's 2.6% plus 10 cents per transaction.
Yeah.
All right, so yes, there is a fee involved as there are with all credit card things. You know, I pay 2.2% in my store. All right, for it, I just don't have a transaction fee because we do
There's
so
also an
many.
annual PCI compliance exercise.
Square takes care of all that. There's no additional fees with Square whatsoever. They take care of all the PCI compliance.
What, they complete the form and say you're
Yes,
being.
they
a
have
good boy?
it. They have it all taken care of. I read their agreements the other day. For it. So stuff to get iron up, but yes, we can do it. We can move forward with it.
So here's what I'm going to ask, Eric. If if you could liaison with Chris,
Mhm.
kind of talk about some more of the details. What I'm hearing is to do it for a $15 transaction, it's probably going to cost us 40 cents
Yes.
per transaction,
Yes.
I would think. Is it worth it or not? Is it worth it for that efficiency to do it rather than handling the money out here? I don't
How
know.
many people asked for that, maybe in a survey? Does money, is it worthwhile, or just try it and see what happens?
I would prefer, I don't like taking cash, I'm getting less carrying cash.
Yeah, I
so
never
It'll make my life easy.
Is it something that we could do through, not Club Runner?
Yes, we
Yeah,
can,
yeah.
yes, we can, and I have that summary just about ready to talk to you about. We've learned a lot, but I've got to talk to the district about it first in terms of the monies and all that. The only thing is if we do that, somebody would have to be there to contribute. Just like you signed up for the events, but they can't, in fact, that's one of the things I talked to them about. But from a quick standpoint, it does not hurt us to do what Eric's suggestion is, to see how many people really do it. Because I dread, from a setup standpoint, I'd rather get the event right and understand our costs first. I'm waiting to get with Mario about that from the golf outing, so we can present it, because I've had long discussions with Club Runner and also learned, Bob was leading this, the district has used this, and what are our fees and who's been paying them. And I want to make sure we understand that. So if we do what Eric says first, how can it hurt? Let's see what happens, give it, I don't know, 3-4 months. By that time, we'll have the other stuff set up. Same thing, then we don't need to sign up to do this, because that's no cost for that. You know what I mean? Like you and I talked about. So
I think there's a good point there that if we get this set up, we can use it for more than just a signing table, obviously, for many of the events that we do and
well,
so
that
on.
we can use Club Runner.
For Club Runner.
Right,
And
but you
maybe
can't,
that's the way to go.
absolutely.
Well, let's table this for now. We'll put it on the agenda. If you do a little more homework, let's talk about it. I'll carry it for next month. Thank you for discussion. We have standing committee reports. Anybody want to make a report that we haven't heard already? Wade membership.
Just the International Women's Day, we are working on that. And we are looking at a revision to one of the points. And we hope to send the letters to all the Mayor's Rotary Club Rotarians and the presidents of the 12 Area 1 and 2 clubs by October 4th. So we're working right now with the committee on
That's in March or April?
that's March 10th, 2022. That's when the International Women's Day celebration will be held in our club. And I think last year, I think we have mentioned that we would like to invite the past nominees that have received the award from the other clubs, as well as the women nominees that they have received it. And in my budget that I submitted to you, I included that information. So that's where we are right now. So October 4th is the deadline to send out the letters to club residents and our fellow Rotarians.
Excellent. Thank you, Alicia, for all your hard work on that. It's a wonderful event. I look forward to every year.
And the committee is great. Have a great committee.
Any other committee reports? Standing committees? And Jim?
Could I amend my secretary's report? One small thing. We have 8 people that haven't paid dues. We have 8 people that haven't paid dues. Last cycle, May 15th, we told them if you don't pay by June 15th, we're going to throw you out of the club, and a couple did get taken out. And I propose I do that November 15th, warn them December 15th, you're going to be removed from the club politely. For that reason. Oh, we emailed and I've sent letters to people that really pay and they're resisting paying. I don't know what their problem is. Mike's going to follow up on one you and I talked about the other day. But we're going to lose a couple. We're going to lose 3. And actually, I can run over to Wade too. He's called a lot of these outliers too. So I will invoice them one more time. That's about to invoice.
So maybe it's not just a question of why people are coming to meetings. Have they lost their engagement as Rotarians?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these people, we haven't, a lot of these people, some people here never read. You know.
Any other committee reports? Any other? Or anything under unfinished business? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Eric, Jim, second. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you. Good meeting today. Thank you. Thank you again for being.
Oh, yeah, thanks for allowing me to listen in.
I need.